Hey everybody, welcome to the Stay Creative YouTube channel. This is David and joining me today is Casey.
Hello.
And we are going to tier rank every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie and review them, talk about them. I'm joined with Casey because unlike Donna, who's usually my guest on stuff, she's actually seen all these Marvel movies. She's a big
Yes.
fan, nerd just like me,
Oh,
reads
yes.
comics, understands, great, perfect guest for this. I'm very excited. So Casey,
Yes.
are you excited to rank all 23 cinematic universe movies? This is being filmed in March 2020, so that's
So
out right
Black
now.
Widow has not yet come out.
Right, yeah, but we'll have to
But
update it.
yes, we will soon update.
Yeah.
But yes, I am extremely excited because I have seen all of these movies multiple times. Um, I am a huge Marvel fan and I can't wait to talk about it.
Awesome. So let's pull it up here. We got it in presentation mode. We're in full screen. Let's start off, right? Let's just jump into it. We're gonna go with Iron Man. So
Yes, the OG.
my initial reaction is put Iron Man in the S tier,
I agree
just
with
to drop it
that
right
because
there, at least.
it's definitely a good movie. I think that, in the beginning of, good Marvel movies,
Oops.
we had the Spider-Man movies back in the early 2000s, and I think that really put Marvel movies on the map. But Iron Man took everything that established and just blew it out of the
To a whole
water.
new level.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, and it feels, it started it all, and it's a really fun, awesome, just
It really is.
superhero
Yes.
movie. It made Iron Man an actual household name.
Yes.
Before that movie, he was not. He was a D-list character
Oh
at
yeah,
best.
he was just this drunk
Yeah,
alcoholic guy
not
that,
very popular,
yeah, he
and
was but I think what they did with this movie is they took all the character aspects from his comic book character and they really just took all the good parts of that and they made him a likable character that has a appealing character arc, and then also they paired that with Robert Downey Jr., who obviously just did amazing.
he's the best part of the entire cinematic universe.
Oh
We're gonna
yes.
do every character ranked eventually, and
At some point.
he's
Yes.
he's gonna be S tier. Iron Man's a
Yes.
lot of fun. The third act kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
uh Jeff Bridges, Obadiah Stane, like his plan makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I love Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
One of my favorite lines from the entire cinematic universe is in this movie, the first one. Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. I love
Yes.
that
We
line. It's
love
so
Obadiah
funny.
Stane.
Yeah, we stand Stain. We stain.
Stain.
We stain.
We stain,
I
yes.
hate myself for saying that. I feel like an Ariana Grande fan. But Iron Man's a lot of fun. The third one falls apart, but the action is awesome. It's really cool
Yes.
seeing Tony Stark struggle and
Oh yes.
falter, and
Oh
and
yeah.
the
He
music.
is oh yeah, the music. They have this constant just like rock soundtrack,
AC/DC,
yes,
Black
and
Sabbath, just awesome stuff.
yes, and it's pretty great.
One of the best endings also in the
Oh
whole cinematic
yes.
universe, though. I Am Iron Man, which of course has in later Endgame, but we'll get to Endgame later.
Yes.
But just one of the best endings.
So
So much fun. Also, John Favreau. We love John
oh yeah,
Favreau.
we
Happy
love John
Hogan
Favreau.
and directing. Yeah.
Yes, he's amazing.
But then right after that
We
was the
have
Incredible Hulk.
Hulk. Yes.
FYI to the audience, sometimes my dog might scratch on my door. Just so if you hear a little scratching, that
Is he done? There he goes.
okay, yeah.
So we have Hulk, and the thing is that I personally love the Hulk as a character. Hulk is one of my favorite characters, like ever out of all comic book history.
Yeah.
Because he just has such a deep character arc, I guess. He just kind of in the comics he's continually struggling. But I think that I was disappointed about this movie because
Really.
they really I was like, it's not up there. I think they took this character that could be really good and they just kind of turned into a generic feeling action movie. I personally did not like Betty Ross much in this.
Me
I feel like
either.
she was very monotone.
Very monotone. She
Yeah.
whispered a lot of her lines, like,
Yeah.
gross.
Yes, yeah.
It's so weird.
And I mean, I haven't really seen was it Liv Tyler that
I
played
think
her?
it is Liv
I
Tyler,
haven't
yeah.
seen her other performances, so she she's probably a good actor. I'm not saying she's not. I'm just saying that I don't really like the stylistic choice that they took with Betty Ross in that
Edward
one.
Norton's fine, I guess, but I don't think he has nearly as much personality to the role as Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah, Mark
does
Ruffalo.
in the
even Eric Bana in the 2003 Hulk
right,
movie.
yeah.
I feel like they just did better. I feel like
Edward Norton just plays a dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a guy.
And they don't really capture the real depth of the character, and there's no Rick Jones. They don't bring in anything from these crazy comic book stories.
Smash.
Yes,
and the Abomination's one of the worst villains.
And really, like, yeah, they could have even done more with him, but they just didn't. And just altogether, I just did not like the final product. And while I don't think it's a horrible movie, I just think it's very forgettable. And I think it had the potential to definitely not
For a long time, I didn't even realize it was in the MCU.
Yeah, exactly, because they just kind of took everything, they kind of just drew it out of the canon.
I think it's safe to say that it's at the bottom of the F tier.
Yes.
I mean, it's in the F tier at the bottom of the MCU movies. It's easily the most forgettable MCU movie.
I definitely agree with that. And I'm very disappointed with that, but that's just, that's just how it be.
That's just how it be. He's good in the Avengers. So then after the Hulk, we have Iron Man 2.
Yes, that's the follow-up to Iron Man.
It's a very controversial movie because a lot of people really like it, a lot of people really hate it.
Well, I just want to say that I do like the recast of War Machine, or he wasn't War Machine yet.
Right, but he became it in this movie. Rhodey, yeah.
I do like the recast of him. I think that
I do too.
Don Cheadle does a good job.
Amazing. One of the best actors. One of the most underrated actors in the MCU.
He's really
so
great.
funny, and I love how he got so much to do in Endgame. But
yes,
right, I do like that. I do like Tony Stark in this movie. I like Happy.
I do.
Whiplash is not.
Whiplash, I feel like it was really muddled with Whiplash and Hammer. I feel like I didn't really like either of them.
I love Justin Hammer, though.
I liked Hammer more than I like Whiplash. I think it's like he had a very generic motivation. As a character, he does good. I just think that it's like overall Hammer, yeah.
Yeah, I think Hammer's a lot of fun. He's not like he's in the comics. I only like Hammer because like Sam Rockwell is the most charismatic man alive. Like he's just so much fun. And
yes, he definitely did a good job in the performance.
I'd love that's all, but it's not a great.
But yeah, like I said, his motivation is just very.
No, they're not great.
Typical,
it's very weird. It's one of those movies where it's like we talk about this a lot, and Marvel does this unfortunately a lot, where they just do stupid things, and it's like why do you do that? Like that whole stuff in the beginning.
Yeah, the characters just themselves don't always do smart
and it's
things.
like so there's this plot where the government's mad at Tony because he has this weapon, and it just like it just feels so dumb, like a dumb. It's like wait, and then they're like mad at him like because Whiplash shows up. It's like you said no one else had this technology. Whiplash's technology is nothing like Iron Man's technology. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
I will have to say though, I do like the race car fight scene. That turned out pretty cool.
But also doesn't make sense because Tony Stark really last minute decided to go on the track, and Whiplash's whole plan was that he last minute decided. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
It didn't really make sense. It was a pretty cool fight, but it didn't really make sense. I agree.
Yeah. But it was a cool fight.
So I think that's the thing. The movie itself was
the
cool.
Briefcase.
But it wasn't very substantial.
It wasn't very substantial. Iron Man.
Yes.
I don't like it. I like Iron Man 3. I just don't like Iron Man 2. I watch it, but I just like
also, I mean, Black Widow. Black Widow was introduced in it,
That's
and
so
I think that it was exactly. I was like, wait, yeah, Black Widow. I forgot about it because it just wasn't very. Her character doesn't shine until the Avengers.
Iron Man 2 is the way I see it. I wish there was more Iron Man in it.
I do like the strawberry scene though. When he gets her strawberries, and that's the only thing she's. Because that's a very Tony and Pepper moment. I really like that.
Also, I hate the silver and red suit.
Yeah, it's not great.
I think
is that F2 or is that?
No, I wouldn't put it in F. I would put it in D.
Yeah,
just relative to the other ones.
It's better than Hulk was.
It's better than Hulk was. None of these movies are bad movies.
Yeah, none of these movies are. They're just just on a scale of wishes.
But Iron Man 2, like I just don't enjoy it. There's not enough Iron Man, not enough action. The plot doesn't really make sense to me, and then it kind of ends with, so he's not even fighting Whiplash in the end. He's just fighting these robots that he built.
Exactly.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's a very weird movie, and I don't think it was a great follow-up to the Amazing Iron Man.
Yes, I feel the same way.
The entire movie feels like Act 3 of Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Act 3 of Iron Man kind of falls apart, and Iron Man 2 just has all of that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So I'd put it there.
So,
and by the way, we're allowed to disagree. We'll just have to.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so then we have Thor.
Here's the thing. I personally like this movie. I mean, it's not the most exciting movie, and there are parts where you just get bored with it. But I think that overall, I enjoy it. It's not my favorite, but I enjoy it.
Where would you put it?
I think it's better than Iron Man 2,
I
personally.
agree.
I do think it's better than Iron Man 2. I do like, I mean, I like Thor and Loki in this movie. I like, I know everyone
Yeah,
hates
Miss
Jane
Loki.
Foster. I don't really mind her. She's not my
I hate
favorite,
Jane.
but
I hate this weird side casting. I talked about this on the every comic book movie ranked. I want to see Thor. Get
yeah,
them out of there.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't like Thor's character. I like Thor's character in this.
Yeah.
Obviously, it grows and changes. He has one of the better arcs.
He does, yeah.
I think it is a fun. I think it is a cool movie.
Yes. And
But
it's fun, like you said. There are fun parts.
but I also hate the idea that it's set like New Mexico is not a great place for a superhero movie. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, New Mexicans.
Well,
but
and if you want to do it that way, I think, we're not really talking about movies outside of the MCU, but if you think about 2003 Hulk, which was set in, like, the desert,
yeah.
they did so much cool stuff with it that they could have done with Thor, or at least drawn
and
inspiration
it took away
from,
his
but they just
powers,
didn't.
and it just
Yeah.
didn't work for me. And the final fight with the big destroyer, like it just
Yeah.
Loki's a great villain, but
And
he's
also-
really great in the Avengers.
Yes, again, with, like, how Black Widow didn't really shine in Iron Man 2, but in the Avengers she does, that's Loki too.
So what's good about Thor? Loki,
I like Loki. I love the Warriors 3 and Thor. I just like
Yeah.
I really like their
I like all the
friendship.
Asgard stuff.
I love Odin just being a dramatic, like, dad and just, like, going into the Odin sleep when his son needs help, like
Odin sucks.
Odin
as
is
a
such
person.
he is a bad person, honestly. Like,
Right.
he's a bad dad, but I think C is yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Personally, I'd put it next to D, but
Oh,
I'm gonna give
really?
it C. Because it's just so boring. It's just so forgettable and
Yeah.
boring to me. Like it's.
Well,
but-
I personally I think it's better than Thor: The Dark World, so
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why
I agree,
would
I
put
agree.
it on C.
But what's weird is Thor: The Dark World matters a lot
Yeah.
in continuity. But
Okay,
we'll get
well,
into
yeah,
that
we're
in a
gonna
minute.
get to that later.
So then we have Captain America:
Oh,
The First Avenger,
man,
which I've discovered a lot of people don't like this movie.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, and
And
I
I don't
see
know
why.
why.
I think some of the
I
action
don't.
scenes, there was a lot of explosions, like, just that really just, like, flashy, like,
Yeah.
fight scene, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like some, like you were saying about the plan at the end, where it's kind of like he gets captured, and it's like, well, then why didn't they just zip line in
Yeah.
before he got like,
It
why
doesn't
didn't they just
make
all
much
do it?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And it's just,
Very contrived.
I mean, but I do like, I love Peggy Carter.
Me
Peggy
too.
Carter is,
She's
like,
one of the better
I
characters.
loved the show Agent Carter. Like, I
Yeah.
love her. She's great. And the ending literally breaks my
Gives
heart.
me chills
Like,
every
it, like,
time.
almost makes me
It's
cry.
so good.
Like, I
I
never
Had a
cry at
Date, Cuts to
movies.
Black.
Yeah.
So I think I cry at movies a lot personally, and that's my favorite. The first half of this movie is my favorite part of the entire MCU. Like I rewatched the first half over and over and over.
And they
again.
did such a good job of setting into that
Yeah.
time. You feel like you're in the 50s
and I
when you
love
watch it.
period pieces like that.
Yes.
And,
Or actually,
yeah,
40s. It was
40s, yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's a great character study of Steve Rogers.
Yes,
the best
definitely.
character in the entire MCU, Steve Rogers.
He's
I
just
love
a
Iron
great
Man.
guy.
He's the best character,
And he does it without being obnoxious. He's
not
such an
obnoxious.
amazing
He's such an
yeah,
amazing
he's such an amazing character. He's such a good guy. But he's not an obnoxious, preachy good guy.
Yeah.
He's just a good guy,
The Red Skull, I think, is a good villain, but
They could have done more with him.
they could have done a whole lot more with
I
him.
think so,
But
too.
also, it's like it's just a Nazi,
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
end.
Like, there's not really much more substance to
Yeah,
it.
there's so much I like about this movie. Like
There is a lot that I
there's
like
a whole
about
lot, but also like you're right. The final, after he rescues Bucky, it all kind of just it loses the
Yeah.
momentum of the
Exactly,
really cool
yeah.
moments
After
it
Bucky
had.
dies, I feel like the momentum kind of slows down. That's
Honestly,
how I felt. Because
yeah.
I watched this one really recently.
Right after Bucky dies, even after he rescues Bucky, like the whole montage of them all doing stuff. It's like,
Mhm.
oh well, everything interesting about this was the stuff about Captain America's character, not the
Exactly.
action.
And so then after, like, I feel like,
Yeah.
honestly, after he rescues the not refugees, but, like,
The
what am I trying to
prisoners.
say?
The
Yeah, prisoners, not
yeah.
refugees, but, after they come marching into the camp, I feel like that's when it slows down.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
that's the peak, and then it's like just everything after that's like
Yeah, and then it keeps
all
slowly,
the tension, all
and then
the
after
drama, all
Bucky
the
dies, it's
interesting
just
stuff.
gone.
Yeah, all the
Yes.
interesting stuff just kind of dies for me. But if the
So-
whole movie was like the first half, it'd be S+.
Exactly.
But the first half is so good that I want to put it in A.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, and overall, it's just, like I said, it goes
For
good,
America.
it goes slow, and then it gets good again, like, at the end. I think, and
Just
also...
that last 5 minutes, though, how much can that really count for,
Yeah, and this is the first movie with an Infinity Stone, right?
It is, yeah,
Yes,
the
because they found
Tesseract.
the Tesseract,
Yeah.
yes.
Which plays directly into the Avengers, which is a great follow-up
Oh
to
my...
that.
So this movie, this came out when I was very young. Like, I was
2012, I think it came
yes,
out.
which
so.
is almost, like, it was a
It was like
long
fifth
time
grade.
ago. Yeah, I was in like 5th grade or something, and this really sparked my interest for like just loving
Yeah, this
movies,
is what
loving
started.
comic books.
This is the first one you
yes.
saw?
This was the first Marvel movie I saw, and I mean, I was always a Hulk fan from when I was little because like for some reason I just was, but the Avengers is really what just got me into it, and it's just such. It's an amazing movie. I think it really
It's
is.
such an event. It pulled off something no one
It's
thought was doable.
This has never been done in
The
history.
Avengers, the event. Well,
this
by
movie
then,
made
yeah,
history.
it did make history, and it
Yes.
worked because it worked.
Yes, and
I
it worked
remember
very
it
well.
brought like the whole world together. Like
It really did.
I remember like when it was coming out, my dad was coming to pick me up to like take me to see the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I was hanging out with this guy who we were kind of friends, kind of he was in my neighborhood, so we were friends, and he was kind of a
Yes.
bully, kind of like a jock, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like with him, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta go." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh, me and my dad are going to see a movie." And he's like, "What movie?" And I got like afraid to tell him it was the Avengers, because I thought he'd like make fun of me for seeing
Yeah.
the Avengers. And he goes, "Is it the Avengers? I can't wait to see it. It looks so awesome."
Yes,
And I was
that's
like,
like if anyone ever thought after all of these movies that superheroes were nerdy, this is what made it like just this really just
it is nerdy,
everyone
but they're not
loved
losers.
it.
Like
Yeah, like
people can
everyone loves
it
it.
brought the world together, and it's not a perfect movie at all.
Oh yeah, it's
but
definitely
it's
not.
so much
But it's
fun,
and I think that
and awesome to
every
see.
character works. Because I think the issue with a
Mhm.
lot of the other Avengers movies that we come into is the fact that there are so many characters in it. We just can't complete all their arcs. It's like they all get like what, like 10 minutes of screen time each or something, because it's like, you know, not that little, but like,
Right, I
you
know
know,
what you're saying.
like, but it's like they don't really get much character development because there's so many people.
They
But
balance them perfectly.
this one is balanced perfectly, and I think that every character works.
Sets up a lot of things. Obviously, everything
Yes.
was planned, and every character does work. You're right.
Like Black Widow, like it really, she's just awesome. Like
Yeah.
Hawkeye, even I mean the thing with Hawkeye being like evil for a while because Loki was
That
brainwashing
kind of brings
him.
it down.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that part, but I do like how he was later. I love Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. This is the Hulk I want.
Yeah, it's the best.
This is the Hulk I want.
It's probably the best Hulk we've gotten.
Yes.
Period.
And I just think I mean, even down to the part where he like commits, like just, you know, is trying to commit suicide. Like that
that's so
is
awesome.
Bruce. That is him. And Tony Stark, amazing. Captain America, he's just again,
Even
he's just
better.
such a great. Yeah, he's even better. They're all just.
But
great.
there are still those moments of like stupidity where it's like
as always,
a couple of moments, but
yeah. I mean, like I'm saying, it's not a perfect.
So
movie.
Where would you put this movie?
Definitely at the top somewhere.
yeah. So it's either
would you say S or S
plus?
plus? I don't know.
It's difficult for me to determine because.
And I mean, we can always move something again.
I'm gonna drop it in S plus for
just now. For now, yeah.
Because I think it's such an important, amazing movie to watch. Like it's so solid.
And I mean, it sets up, like you said, it set like how Iron Man has like PTSD, which I'm really glad they explore, and how it just really gets the whole Infinity War kind of thing rolling.
Yeah, the Infinity Saga.
And yeah, exactly. And I think that every character in it is great. Nick Fury, we love Nick Fury. Like I just love it all. Like you know, even the bad moments I feel on your first watch, you don't really notice it because it's just so much fun.
I agree.
Like it's a good movie, but it's also just fun to watch.
I agree. But the thing is, like, I can't watch the whole thing, and I skip around.
It is long, yeah.
I do skip around of moments, a lot of moments, and there are a few of them that I don't skip around.
Yeah. Oh, and Loki. We didn't talk about Loki.
Loki's great. Loki gets even better.
I think he's better in this one than he is in Thor.
I agree. And, you know, some of his stuff, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I guess they kind of talk about how actually I saw like this thing where like they put it together, and actually they literally say this. His whole plan was to get brought back to Asgard. He just wanted back in Asgard. His plan from the very start was to take over Odin. Was to take over Odin's place, and like he did all this just to get captured. And that's what he wanted,
though. Because even when he comes back in Thor: The Dark World, that's still what he wants. He just wants to rule a planet.
Right.
And Asgard is the one that he already has his foot in the door for.
So let's move on.
Okay.
So we can come back.
So Iron Man 3, coming off of the hype of the Avengers, Iron Man 3 came out. And I think a lot of people were disappointed just because
don't like this movie.
A lot of people, and I have to say, let's start with the Mandarin twist. Okay, what is your opinion on that?
In the context of the movie, I like it a lot. I'm okay with it a lot in the context of the movie. As a comic book fan, it's like, whoa. But also, like, who the frick even cared about the Mandarin? Like,
the man, he was not a
people who get so upset about it, it's like, oh, really? What's your favorite Mandarin story? Please point me to the issue number in Iron Man of your favorite Mandarin story.
Well, I do think the issue is they set up the Ten Rings back in Iron Man 1 because they're the terrorist organization that kidnaps him. And I think that, I mean, so I can see why people were like, oh man, you know, like, it's really gonna be the Mandarin. And here's the thing. I like Killian. I really do like Killian.
I like him too, actually.
As a character, I like him a lot. I like the whole, you know, I like Maya Henson. I like all of them. I think he is a great villain. I really do. And especially, like, we love young nerdy Killian that Tony just completely dissed. Like, and I like that this is the first time that Tony's creations like really come back to bite him.
Yeah, which it will do more in Age of Ultron. It sets up that.
But this, because I mean, you said in Iron Man 2, you know, like the things that attack him, but that was not actually his technology. But this was the first wrongdoing by him that really
he messed up. To bite him. He messed up, and I really enjoyed that. I love the whole Christmas setting. This is my favorite. I watch it on Christmas.
It's Christmas.
I think he spends a little too much time with the kid, and I don't like the relationship he really has with the kid because he's kind of just a jerk to him the whole time, and it never develops.
Yeah, you know? He's a jerk to the kid, and the kid just kind of like trying to manipulate
and it's like,
him
okay,
the whole
he's
time.
like, oh yeah, he'll grow out of it, he'll stop being a jerk, and he never really does.
Yeah.
And I think he spends a little too much time with him.
Yeah, I definitely know what you're saying.
But I still think it's fun when he has that. I enjoy him losing his suit, being stranded. Mm-hmm. Some of it doesn't make a lot of sense though. You know, like why aren't you letting Pepper leave the house? But I guess what's happening there is he's saying he doesn't want to leave the house, but Pepper doesn't want to leave without him, and then they get blown up, and it's kind of like it's just parts of it are like, hey man, you're Iron Man, why don't you like just you're Tony Stark, like you're stranded in Tennessee. No, you're not. Use a cell phone, call anybody.
No, there's got to be something.
Call anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like Fury and Shield was still a thing. So
right. Yeah, and it's this sort of like situation where a lot of superhero movies do, where it's like, oh crap, he's alone, he's lost all of his crap, and these people are like taking over. They just took it right from under him. Mm-hmm. Does that a lot, but it doesn't work in the context of the MCU,
especially coming off of the Avengers. Exactly, it's like you have all these people.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense that Captain America doesn't get involved when the President of America.
And there is a whole branch of the government, Shield, that you can somehow help you out.
But and one more thing that keeps it at fault. Mm-hmm. When he destroys the suits at the end, that's a great ending. But he needs to be in the rest of these movies.
Because then he comes back in Age of Ultron with suits, so it's like, what happened? Yeah,
well, exactly. What happened is they realized, oh wait, Shane Black wanted to do something really cool.
But we can't do
that because duh. That was kind of dumb of Shane Black in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because they're not an entire Iron Man.
It's like, what are you gonna... What? Yeah.
Like, it's a cool idea, and I do like it. I like the moment, but it doesn't fit in the context with the rest of the series.
Now, I'm thinking I'm going to put this... Honestly, I kind of want to put it in A tier, but I'm thinking B tier because all the false will hold it back.
I think so, too.
What boosts it up for me is Tony Stark himself dealing with PTSD. They should have gone more into that. They should have done it more, but dealing with the anxiety attack... dealing with failure, real bad failure, and really being scared of like losing Pepper.
Yeah, and literally having panic attacks. Like, it's very. I mean, like I don't personally know anyone that has PTSD, so I can't see how it like really affects real people. But I think that just from what I hear, like they did a good job of really trying to. You know, it's a big deal for him. They don't just brush it off like, oh yeah, he has PTSD, whatever. It really dictates his life at this point.
I think what this does good that Iron Man 2 didn't touch on, and what makes Iron Man 1 so good, as I harken back to, is Iron Man is Tony Stark is Iron Man.
Yes.
And they really doubled down on that in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the theme of it that I really like. I love the Christmas setting. I love the dialogue, the writing. I love the character developments, and it's I watch it all the time. I just love watching this movie. It's such a great Iron Man movie.
I'm not, and like I said, I think the Mandarin twist, I never really got back to my point with that. I was just kind of talking,
sorry,
but no, it's fine. I just kind of got distracted, but I think the only reason it works is Killian. I think that.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that, and I can see why, I can see why comic book lovers are mad about, not even that, but just extremists as well.
You know what, we're getting him in Shang-Chi.
Yes,
we're getting him in
like
Shang-Chi.
the real Mandarin. Yeah, so it's gonna work. So it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Also, War Machine, Iron Patriot, Rhodey is amazing.
Oh yeah. We forgot to talk about Rhodey. Oh my god, he's great.
I love him in this movie.
I do. I like him as Iron Patriot. I like it a lot.
It's like, so you breathe fire. Oh, it's a funny freaking movie.
Yeah, like he's just great.
Like whenever like he's like killing all the guys, and then he gets to that last guy, and he's like, Honestly, I just work here. These
Yeah.
guys, I hate working here. These
It
guys are
is-
so weird. Yeah,
It's a funny movie.
it's a very funny movie.
It's great.
I think, but there's a lot of flaws holding
Oh
it
yeah,
back.
definitely.
So I'm
There's a
gonna put it in
lot
B
wrong with
tier.
it, but there's
But
also
I think it's entertaining, and I don't think Iron Man 2 is entertaining at all.
this is a lot more interesting than Iron Man 2 is. It's
So
a lot
that's
funnier.
entertaining,
It's
yeah.
a lot, yeah.
A lot
So
more
I
entertaining.
think in the middle is the perfect place.
Thor: The
for it.
Dark World is the most boring movie.
Yes. Now, while it is boring, I do like Thor and Loki in this. I do think it had
That is true.
I like their dynamic. I'm not sure how I feel about the ether, the destruction
it's really
stone,
weird.
the reality stone, I think, yeah. I don't like that very much. I feel like there's so many other ways they could have gone about doing it. But why did it have to like possess Jane Foster like in The Exorcist? Like, you know what I'm
really
saying?
Weird,
like that's a weird way to
really
go about
weird
doing it.
Endgame calls back to it so heavily.
Well,
like,
I think that
it's
was
a
mostly
big
because
deal.
they wanted to have his mom in there so that he could have
Yeah, I guess
we'll
you're
get back
right.
to that though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
the side characters are the worst. Like the whole
Yeah.
the whole Earth crew, Kat Dennings and everything. They're like, that's where they really stand out as being like, shut the hell, get you out of here. I do not want to see you.
Mm-hmm.
They make like 3 shoe jokes a lot.
Yeah, we have
It's
what's his name that was like streaking at Stonehenge?
the doctor that
Yeah,
went crazy after Loki.
Eric something. Yeah.
And that's just weird. I hate the way I hated the way Thor shot kind of the same way. I hated the way it's shot. It's such a boring film. Like the colors, it's so uninteresting.
The colors are very like drab.
It's so dark. And
yeah.
The Dark Elves, the most boring
Well,
villain
the thing about the Dark Elves is I think they
Elves.
really had the potential to be really cool. But I think they just didn't really, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't really. It felt very almost like not Lord of the Rings, but like it felt borrowed from another franchise. And so I think that they could have done it. They could have done it well, but they just didn't play their cards right. And I think that was the whole movie. Honestly, like I said, I like a lot of aspects of this movie, but when you put it all together,
the Loki
it doesn't
and
work.
Thor. I like the Loki.
Yeah.
And Thor. This movie sets up a lot of stuff, but
does.
on its own, I don't rewatch it.
It's more of a movie that you have to see just to get everything else. It's not one of those ones where you're just like, oh my god, you have to watch this. This is amazing.
And at this point, Thor still hasn't gotten to the really fun character development he gets in Ragnarok.
Exactly. Well, I think this is what pushed them to do that though. So maybe it's a good thing that it's here because it really made them realize.
At this point, he's still just being
like.
Like it's like, okay, you're introduced to Thor, so you can like, okay, I like it, but then he's just boring Norse god Thor this whole time.
Yeah, it's basically just I just think the best way to describe it is Thor 2, if that even makes any sense. It's the exact follow up to the first Thor. Yeah. It has nothing really new in it. It's just they introduced the reality stone, but that's
I'm excited to see her brought back in Love and Thunder because that can be cool, I think. But
well, I think they're probably gonna really amp up her character just like they did with Thor. They're gonna realize this isn't working and they're gonna probably.
So where would you drop Dark World?
Definitely somewhere towards the bottom. I don't know if I'd say I personally think it had way more feeling to it, and just like the Hulk is such a numb movie, so I don't know if I'd put it down with it. But I think it.
Nothing happens in the Hulk that is interesting at all. And the thing about Thor: Dark World is at least there's the Loki and Thor stuff.
So I would not put it down with the Hulk.
At least
but
there's the Loki
I think
and Thor
D
stuff.
is the best place.
I agree, and I think it's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
But then we have Winter Soldier, which is
Winter Soldier,
one of the more acclaimed films.
It's definitely one of the more not. It's just got a lot going on in it. I think. Well, it's more about the government collapsing.
It's a spy movie,
it's a spy movie more than it's a superhero movie. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think. Well, I remember when I watched it with my mom. Like back when it came out, and I remember her saying she was like, I didn't like it as much, and I was like, well, that's just because it's different. It's not really like any of these other ones, and I think that it works. But I don't know if it's not a very exciting movie. Really?
That's interesting. I 100% disagree. This is where I love this movie. I actually don't know if I like it as much as First Avenger.
Yeah.
Which is because it's a very good movie. Objectively speaking, it is one of the better made movies.
It is definitely the way it's shot is very good. I do like that.
And it's one of like the more interesting, fun like good movies.
Yes.
But objectively speaking, I mean, I rewatch it, but just not as much as I enjoy watching the other ones that have a lot more of a tone and a lot more of a voice.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. I think because like it's very. I think this is what Thor the Dark World was trying to do. They were trying to just have a really like a more emotional like darker piece, and it just didn't work. So I think this definitely succeeds more at that.
Yeah. I would honestly probably put it. I think it's a very good spy movie,
and I do like Black Widow in it a lot. This is the one I remember the least, honestly.
Yeah.
Because this is the one that I just never really went back and rewatched.
Really?
But
okay.
Like, I've seen it, like, once or twice, but I do remember I loved Black Widow in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like, I kind of don't like how the thing is, she's not trying to really, like, get with Captain America, but I don't like that they really have her, like, just kind of in, like, the part where they kiss and stuff, you know, like that, I mean, like, that obviously was just so it's like, oh, you know, so they won't look at us, but it was also very, like, did that have to be in there?
I don't know how I feel about Black Widow in this one. The way that she kind of like that. Remember that? I know you haven't seen it much, but remember the scene where she explains how she got shot?
Yeah, I do remember that. She bye bikinis. Yeah, it's like
shut up. Stop it! It just makes me cringe so bad.
I want to put it this way. I like her better. I like her the most in the Avengers, the original Avengers.
Yeah.
I like her. I don't like her in Avengers: Age of Ultron. I think that's why I'm thinking she's better in this one, because I hate her in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not necessarily her character, but just the things that they throw in that like don't make any sense.
She's really good at Endgame.
Endgame. All the Avengers movies except for Age of Ultron are her best ones. That's what I think.
So, Winter Soldier, though, but I do think it's a very good... What do you think about...
they
have Bucky and Falcon that come in. Nick Fury is great in this one.
Nick Fury is great. I do like when I'm thinking about all the Nick Fury scenes, I'm like, yeah, especially when he burns his eye patch at the end.
Right.
That was a good
It's a very, very tight, solid plot, full of characters that are really cool.
Yeah,
Lots of really great fight scenes. Really great fight scenes.
Yeah. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't really have that, like, it's not very... It just doesn't, it's not like one of those ones that just anyone can come in and see and go, man, I really want to watch that again. That was so much fun. It's not a fun movie. It's a more, it's got way more
there's
impact.
There's a thought piece to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You also see, I really enjoy watching Steve struggle with, he was living in the 40s, now he's in the modern world, and the safety versus security and all that stuff like that. I think that was all handled really well. Really solid dialogue in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, with his lines at least. And I would honestly probably put it right next to the first Avenger.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, because I
don't
haven't
think
seen
it's
it super
god
recently,
tier as these other ones.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have a really interesting rank. I think our rankings are going to be very different from other people's.
I think so, too.
Because usually it's, like, up here, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not one of those ones that I really just... Especially when I was younger, I was in, like... You know, I was in, like, early high school, I think, when this came out. I don't really remember how old I was, but... So, I mean, I just didn't see it and go, man... I was in middle school when this came out, so I was like, I don't really want to... I didn't really want to go back and see it all the time, you know? It's just... But, I mean, now that I'm older, I'm sure I'd watch it and enjoy it more, but I just haven't... Nothing's really prompted me to go back to it, you know what I'm saying?
It's interesting. We should watch it again one day.
We should, yeah.
So Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, this is such a fun movie.
It's one of my favorite ones.
And I think the thing is that I like, well, it still has some of the typical, like, superhero movie tropes, because I think they were afraid to go too far out of the box with it, but this is the first one in the MCU that really strays from the other ones.
It was very weird.
And, yeah, it had a lot of weird moments, but I thought it was very funny.
I've rewatched it quite a few times, and recently enough, it's one of the funniest movies.
It definitely one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
It's great.
Like, not just,
It's great and very emotional. It's great. All the characters come together for the first time, and they handle that. They balance it so well.
Yeah.
You know, the Avengers.
They're the dysfunctional Avengers.
The dysfunctional Avengers, and the Avengers had all these movies to set up the characters. Guardians of the Galaxy started with it.
Yeah.
And it still worked very well.
Exactly.
I really like by the end when they're all sort of like, you really do feel like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that they'd be friends now. They'd be going together now.
Because they went through a lot together. The Avengers they didn't really have... Honestly, that was one of the issues I had with Avengers. They didn't have that much that really tied them together, except for the death of Coulson. But this one, it was like, you feel like they're really a family at the end.
You really do. And when Groot goes, "We are Groot,"
yes!
It breaks me every time. I cry. It breaks me every time. I love it so much. It's a beautiful movie. It's so interestingly shot. James Gunn's an incredible director.
Oh, yeah, James Gunn is good.
This and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 are two of the most interesting movies in the MCU because of the way they're shot.
There's never a boring moment.
I love the colors. I love the interesting.
I like the bright colors.
I love it's beautiful. Like
it's a pretty movie.
And the with the the lights
CGI
coming
is
out.
good. Like, it still holds up today.
It still holds up.
Yeah.
Peter Quill's one of my favorite characters ever. Period. Like I love Star-Lord.
Peter Quill is a good character.
Ronan is a boring villain, but it works in the context of what they're doing in the movie.
Yeah, and I think, because they have so much other stuff going on, it's like, okay, boring villain is fine, because there's also so much other stuff happening so it's like, okay, this is boring villain talk scene, but then it's like you get something really interesting after it. So it's okay.
Yeah, so where do you think you'd put this one?
I think...
So I have my answers. I want to know what you think.
Oh, and, we saw Michael Rooker at Comic-Con.
Yeah, Michael Rooker's...
Yeah,
oh my
and
God.
Michael Rooker, he is the best. His performance in this...
I love even better in Guardians too.
Yes, and
right.
we're gonna get to that, but I love Michael Rooker.
Some of the best characters in this whole
Yes.
So
I think I would put it. Do you want to say A, or do you think higher? Or
are you thinking A?
That's what I was thinking.
I'm thinking S.
Yeah, I was thinking like A is the lowest. Yeah.
S, it's definitely S here for me. And honestly, we'll get the Guardians 2 later, but I like Guardians 2 even better.
Yeah, me too.
So S tier because it's just so good. It's set up the comic stuff works. So well. Everything works so perfectly. I love all the characters. They're so much fun.
Like
Rocket,
it's unknown enough that they could really do whatever they wanted with it.
And it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's so much fun. The music. The music is so good.
It's everything about it is great. Like I remember listening to the soundtrack nonstop.
I can watch it over and over again.
Me too.
I can watch it over and over and over again. It's one of the very few movies I own.
Okay, so let's talk about Age of Ultron. Okay. I want to get started with saying that I do not like Brutasha. I do not like it.
Oh, you don't like that shit?
I don't like it.
But they're both you're not the only monster on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like... What? And then she talks about how she can't have kids. And
right.
I think that's okay, because there's females that really would feel like that. But I'm sure that... Also, the fact that she's, thus far, really the only woman in the Marvel universe that's, like, the biggest, really up there with all the guys. At this time, she's the only one like that, and I think that it really, so it's just kind of like, can we not, and especially the character that she is. I just don't see, like I said, it's okay for a woman to feel like that, because there's definitely women that would feel like that, but I just think that that's not her character, and I think that, I don't like that, and I don't like how they tie it into Brutasha. I just don't like it.
I'm not a fan of it either. It kind of came out of nowhere to me.
Exactly, yeah. There was no hints to it. They don't have chemistry. He's like, what, like, how much older is he than her?
I mean,
he's a lot older than her. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't care about that so much, but I mean, I just don't like it. I'm just grabbing at stuff not like about it.
It feels like Natasha has a creepy crush on him.
Yeah, because she comes up to him like during the party and she's like, "Hey," like it's just like
it's like what?
Yeah, and he's just like in the comics, you would not like him. Like he's not a kind of character you'd have a crush on.
Right.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, and it's I don't know. So that part I did not like.
That drags it down for you.
That definitely. There's a lot of that I like about it.
There's a lot of things we have to talk about in this movie.
Oh yes. So yeah, that's
Ultron
out of the way.
himself.
Okay.
Ultron himself. What do you think about Ultron himself?
I don't know how I feel about Tony Stark creating him. I guess it works because they want him to feel more blame. Like, they want him to feel bad about all this stuff because that's... I mean, he is the leading, like, technology... Like, he is basically, like, the Apple in this universe. But even more so than that because he makes weapons as well as computers and things like that. So imagine, like... that, like, having him, as, like, your top technology provider in the world... And then he makes something like that really just goes haywire. And I think that also it's just the fact that he made it. I like that. I think I feel alright about Ultron.
You like Ultron? I like Ultron a lot.
I like Ultron
as an actual villain. Like I think James Spader does a great job. I think he's really charismatic and funny and great. And I kind of understand what he's going with. I think he looks really awesome.
Yeah, he did look really cool. Awesome like, stuff. The CGI was good.
That's a plus there for Ultron. I actually really enjoy Ultron a lot. That's very mixed bag, by the way. A lot of people don't like him.
I think I like Ultron. I'm not... okay, I like Vision. I do like Vision.
Yeah, we got some about Vision. I like Vision a lot, too.
I think it's interesting that Jarvis is Vision. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, wait. Vision, but then I was like, wait, I really like that, though.
I think Vision works really well. I like Vision a lot. He's great in this. Yeah. So that's another plus. The party scene, remember the party scene near the beginning?
Yeah, I like the scene where
one of the best scenes. In
they're just they're trying to lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, at the after party. Yeah,
because that's the after party is what I really like because you just see them like really being like friends.
Yeah,
like,
and that's friends. That's one of the best scenes in the entire MCU.
I think so too.
And
besides the shawarma post-credit scene,
yeah,
of course.
But I love it, and I have a very soft spot for this movie, and for one reason, it is the only movie in the cinematic universe that starts with them being a team of Avengers and ends with them being a team of Avengers.
Yes.
The entire way through.
Even though some of the members change a little bit,
Yeah,
it's not like they're still the Avengers, and they have their whole new headquarters.
They're still the Avengers. Like it's an event. It is an Avengers movie.
Exactly.
You have Avengers, the actual first Avengers. It takes time for them to become a team. Then you have right after this, you got Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think Ant-Man actually comes before Civil War. I got that. I must have moved that by accident.
Yeah,
but after this, you got Civil War. Okay, it's falling apart. Then Infinity War, they're not together. Then Endgame, they have to come together to fight. Like this is the only one where the entire time they are the Avengers. It is, and that's my soft spot for it.
Oh yes,
and I love those interactions. I love seeing the Avengers. That's my soft spot.
How do you feel about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver?
I hate Quicksilver in this movie. I don't think I hate that actor.
I don't really like either of them as much as I wish I
like Scarlet Witch later.
Yes, later she's good, but
looking at this movie in a vacuum, not a fan.
And they're supposed to. Are they supposed to be teenagers in this movie? I really can't tell because they call them kid.
I think it's supposed to be like 20.
Yeah, because I honestly could not tell what age they were supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's like, I mean, to a degree, I mean, Scarlet Witch, she's not a likable character. Like, honestly, in the comics, she's just, like, insane. Like, she's, like, you look at all the stuff she does, and you're like, why? Like, she's just, like, out of the box. But, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Like, I like her in later stuff. I don't necessarily like her in this one. Quicksilver, they just could have, I don't know. I feel like Quicksilver is just not a character that's translated well to cinema at this point, because
I disagree, because in Days of Future Past, you saw Days of Future Past?
He was better in Days of Future Past.
He was awesome in Days of Future Past. Nothing like the actual comic book Quicksilver, though. Yeah. Nothing.
I just think that he's a character that at this point everyone just takes their own like creative liberties with, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Screw Quicksilver. I don't care about Quicksilver.
Well, and also the fact that he was killed off so soon. I feel like he's just so forgettable.
Yeah, but you know, that is kind of ballsy to me, because I do like that this is where they started killing people, like really killing characters.
Yeah, like actually killing them.
And it's actually interesting when you look at where we're at now, and you're like, oh wow, they've killed a lot of people in these movies. There's some real stakes in these movies. And it kind of did start with Quicksilver, to be honest.
It did, yeah, because he's the first character that never came back.
Captain America and Tony Stark's relationship is great in this. Those are the two best parts of the movie.
And I like the
Hawkeye's amazing.
I do like Hawkeye. That's what I was about to say. I like Hawkeye a lot in this one.
Yeah.
I like the whole like how Scarlet Witch when she mind controls them. I love how they really use that as like bait in the trailers though. Yeah. Like, oh my god, there was so much stuff that was quote unquote just a vision, but it was like in the trailers it was like, oh my god, Captain America's gonna die and all that stuff. I love listening to the trailer speculations.
Stuff like that. It was crazy.
But I mean, it's I do like that, and I like the Hulkbuster armor is pretty cool.
That was a cool fight scene.
That was a really good fight scene, and I like that.
We're introduced to Wakanda for the first time.
Yeah, and we're introduced to Wakanda. We have Claw.
This movie has a lot going on.
Yes, it has a lot. It really does, and I like the Hulk fight, like not just the aftermath of the fight scene and how one it leads to Ragnarok, and two it's just like that's a very Hulk thing. Because the government is constantly after him. He's always like
as a big Hulk fan, that fits it perfectly.
There's always a warrant out for his arrest.
Which is crazy.
He's
if you
never
look at this,
good.
After Age of Ultron was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies.
It was a long time until
Ragnarok.
It really it was years until we saw.
It was that's crazy. Age of Ultron though, I like Tony and Cap's relationship. It's great. Hawkeye is one of the best parts. I think Honest Trailers. You know about Honest Trailers?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Honest Trailers. Whenever this came out, they said that the movie that made your least favorite Avenger, your third or fourth favorite Avenger. Like that's exact. That describes it perfectly.
So I'd say it
Thor's still boring Thor in this.
Yeah, exactly. So Thor doesn't really change. It scores even more points for Tony and Cap. I'd say it scores some points for Hulk, but I think that Black Widow went down.
Black Widow does go down. I think,
and then Hawkeye went.
And I think overall, a lot of the movie is it's not very solid. Where like,
there's a lot of
like it's kind of like, okay, so your plan is to lift up the city and then drop it, creating an earthquake that creates everything.
Yeah, that's such a weird like thing.
It doesn't. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. It comes back to there's just so much going on in this movie, which is what I was saying when we talked about the first one.
They didn't do enough with Ultron. They could have done so much more with Ultron.
There's so many people in it that they have to shove all of their character arcs into like 2 hours. There was 30 more minutes of this movie.
Really?
Yeah, like that's what I heard. That there was like almost 30 minutes of footage, that they cut out of this, which they really needed that in there, in my opinion.
Yeah, so there's a lot of holding it. It just doesn't. There's too much going on that's what holds it back, is being just this okay-ish film. The fight
So you
scenes are
think-
garbage in this movie,
Yeah,
except for
everything
the
except for the
Hulkbuster.
Hulkbuster scene, yeah.
The physics don't make much sense. It's kind of it's
The
really weird.
Ultron
It's all
fight
over the
scene in the
place.
Wakandan boat, I didn't like that. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
I'm not a fan. So
Yeah.
there's a lot
So,
for to get back.
B?
I think B is a good spot
I think
for
B.
it.
Yeah, it's
Right
it's
next to
middle of the
Iron Man.
line. It's not amazing, but it's
I really
not
do. I think
bad
it's better
either.
than Thor. I think most people would put it low. A lot of people don't like this movie. I
I
love
wouldn't put
Age
it
of
that
Ultron.
low.
I love
think
Age of
I think
Ultron.
it deserves.
Personally,
more
I
than
mean, I
that.
watch it a lot. But I'm aware of the whole
It's
debate.
it's got some fun moments.
Then we have this.
Ant-Man is such a fun movie.
It is such.
I think
killer
heist
movie dude.
really works for this one.
It does really work for this one, and it has one of the most least interesting villains.
It does, yeah.
But it's kind of he's so evil it's comical.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when he kills that goat, that little baby sheep. Actually, it was a sheep. Remember that?
I don't remember that.
Well, they
part.
break this.
Again,
like,
it's been a while since I've seen this one too.
That's fair. He's
Yeah.
testing his stuff, and they're testing it, and comes in a sheep, and the lady's like, "I thought we were using mice," and he's like, "What's the difference?" It's like, "Bruh, there's a difference."
What? Yeah.
This little baby goat. And he like turns people. He has the gun that, like, turns people into like the goop.
Yeah, he's
It's
got a
that
lot of
guy.
weird
It's
stuff
so
going on.
weird.
I like Scott's relationship with his daughter. I think that's cute.
I think that's real. I think Scott Lang's great.
Oh yeah, Scott
Paul
Lang
Rudd
is a good.
amazing.
Yeah, Paul
one
Rudd
of the
does
one
an
of the best
amazing
characters
job.
in the MCU.
Oh yes,
Who just
yeah.
rises and has a great arc. Hank Pym. We
does.
get introduced to Hank Pym.
Yes, the original one that
Yeah.
beats his wife in the comic.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our boy
Wife
Hank
beater.
Pym.
But
Yeah.
I think they left that out of the movies.
Yeah, they definitely left that out of the
But
movie.
I do like Hank Pym a lot.
Read the comics, guys.
Read the comics.
But yeah, I think and I love Louise.
Yeah, those characters are a lot of fun. Really, those are some side characters that really work and have a really good bit. And the final fight scene at the end with when they're on the Thomas the Train Engine thing, that's such a really interesting fight scene.
Yeah.
We tease going into the quantum realm,
Yes, definitely.
it does a lot. I think it's just a really, really solid movie. I think it's very
think
much
so.
an average movie, but I think it's a really solid.
I mean,
movie.
yeah, there's nothing about it that's like just really like amazing that they
There's
did
the
with
Falcon
it.
cameo,
Yeah,
which is funny.
but I think it's a good movie. I think it's funny. I think that they really they did well in it. I love the How do you feel about Hope? Hope is a new character that we've never seen before, right?
Yeah,
like she has never been.
Yeah,
has she ever been in the comics?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure.
Because I was gonna say I knew about Scott Lang in the comics. I didn't know about her though.
I know that there have been daughter figures, but they've always sort of been like this weird, like, not just straight up Hank and Janet's daughter.
And I really like Janet a lot. I like Janet, like, and not in just like the regular comic book universe. I like
Janet's
Janet.
really cool.
So I was kind of sad that it wasn't Janet, but like I understand.
But they set it up for
why
later. They explain they set that very clearly up for later.
Yeah.
So where are you thinking to rank this one?
What are you thinking?
I'd probably put it also in B tier.
That's what I was. I think it's also middle of the line. Like it's not. It's good, but it's not outstandingly good. But there's nothing super inherently
really solid.
bad about
it's
it.
really solid.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy watching it a lot. But there's nothing about it that makes me like, ooh, I gotta watch Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but
like,
there's a lot about Age of
watch
Ultron where I'm like, oh, I gotta watch Age of Ultron again for this fun scene or this fun scene, and Ant-Man has that, but just doesn't have quite that kick. And
so moving on to Civil War, like, okay, this is, I think that, again, I've only seen this one a couple of times. It wasn't really one of those that made me want to go back and watch it. I think that just starting off, the fight scene at the end between Cap and Iron, yeah, that really, and I love that there wasn't really even a soundtrack behind there, was it? It was just raw emotion. Like it was just like, you know.
Sorry, I'm stretching.
It's fine, and I think that was an interesting choice with Baron Zemo.
I think Baron Zemo was really great in this movie.
Yeah, I think that was a really interesting choice. It really works though, because what happened was his whole goal was to get them to fight each other.
Black Panther's really great in this movie.
Yes, we love Black
This
Panther.
is the best Black Panther's ever been.
Yeah, and I think he already has so much character development with his dad dying.
Yeah, he has a great arc.
Yeah, and it's
really
literally
cool.
he's just a side character, you know, and he's great. Yeah,
I think he's really great in this movie. Introduced very well. All the stuff with Bucky being brought back into the fold is really nice.
Yeah. There was some good fight scenes.
Some of it doesn't make sense. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot happening.
Where it's like, okay, so there's the Sokovia Accords, and there's the Bucky fight, and there are those other Winter Soldiers that you gotta go kill, and there's Baron Zemo. Oh, and they're fighting each other, It's like whoa. It sort of feels like they pushed this whole Civil War
It's
thing way too
muddled.
fast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is something that honestly could have been an Infinity War event if they wanted it to.
Yeah, it could have been.
Civil
It
War
should
is
have
a
been.
big deal.
It should have been its whole phase. Like, it could have been.
Yes,
so that
exactly. Like, Civil War is a big deal.
Spider-Man's introduced in this movie.
Yes, Spider-Man. Oh man,
and
I
he's
love
incredible
him.
in this movie.
Yes,
He's so much fun.
how
Tom
do you feel
Holland
about
is great.
Tony in this movie?
Tony is kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think so too.
But he's understandable.
He's just not in his right mind, I guess, because he's really, like, that's, that woman comes up to him and says, like, you killed my son, and he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, exactly. He got caught in that fight, and I think that, and I really love that this deals with just the fact that civilians do die a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they have these crazy battles, like, a lot of, like DC movies never really address that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of movies don't. They're just like, oh, it's, but then this really goes into that, and I think that's interesting.
I think you're right. But also, it falls apart when you think about it for more than 5 seconds. You're like, wait, so General Ross.
I was gonna say, what is our boy General Ross doing in this movie?
He shows up just to be like,
like, you can't, like, okay, yeah, exactly. It's like they could have used anyone else besides General Ross.
I mean, I'm fine with them using General Ross, but it's just dumb when they're like,
why?
He's like, New York, aliens invaded. It's like, DC. Yeah, that was you. That was the government falling apart.
That was your fault.
The only one that was the fault was Sokovia, and that was just Tony because he built Ultron. But hey, they saved it. So, like, and when you think about it for 5 seconds, everything Caps is right. When Cap's argument is like, what if we need to go somewhere, but they won't let us go? And what if they send us somewhere that we don't want to go? So
Tony's argument just falls apart.
It just falls completely apart.
So I feel like it's very one-sided, you know what I'm saying? So
what they really should have done, I think it is, when you think about it for 5 seconds, Cap's right. What they really should have done is just, if you're going to make this a one-movie thing, make it about Bucky. Make it solely about Bucky, because then you can understand all the sides a whole lot better, and it's a lot more of a conflict. But they didn't do that at all. They made it about this Sokovia, like, it doesn't work. The
Sokovian Accords, it was very, How do you feel about Natasha switching sides?
Sure. I guess that's
fine.
It
was kind of just like whatever.
Like, I think they had a really great relationship developed in Captain America's Winter Soldier.
I think it was supposed to be a big moment, but I just kind of felt like, I mean, I saw it coming. I was like, why wasn't she on his side?
Yeah, I think Kevin Feige was even like, ooh, there's a double agent. Oh, thanks, it's Black Widow.
Yeah, it's always Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah.
Like, her whole character is double agent.
Ant-Man gets brought into this. That giant man scene.
The
airport fight scene's incredible. The
really airport fight scene is amazing.
So
Spider-Man comes in, giant man, like, oh man, I love it.
There is a lot there, but when you think about it, the fight scenes are just really great.
Overall, though, it's not a movie that, like I said, I'm just never prompted to go back and watch it.
When you think about it for more than 5 seconds, it just doesn't work, and it just gets frustrating, which is why I almost want to do something really controversial and drop it in the C tier.
No, I agree with that. I really do, because I think, like I said, there's nothing that really makes me want to go back and see it. I think it's kind of like Captain America's Winter Soldier, and the fact that it's supposed to be a more emotional, heavy-hitting movie than just like a fun superhero movie, and I think that I honestly think Captain America 2 does it better, though.
I think there's a couple moments that work really well for Civil War.
There's a lot of great moments.
The character moments are really great, but everything else is what falls apart around it. Like, at the end, I love when Iron Man starts fighting Bucky, and it's like, he didn't know it was him, and Iron Man, I think he says, like, yeah, but he killed my mom. It's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, I definitely see that, yeah. Like, I guess the thing is, it paints Tony as a bad guy, and I think that in some ways, yes, he is. But yeah, and it does it too much, though. It's kind of like, he's totally justified in being mad at this guy for killing his parents.
And it's kind of a weird plot where it's all set up by Zemo, and it kind of just so convoluted, and it's kind of contrived. It's really contrived. The whole movie's really contrived.
Like, Zemo honestly didn't even
just to make it. That this movie only exists so that when we get to Infinity War, they're not together.
Exactly.
That's the only.
Like I said, I like the twist with Zemo, but also honestly, he could have not been in it, and nothing would have changed really, because they still would have fought each other.
I mean, could have done something very different.
I mean, honestly, it started. I guess it started with a Scarlet Witch, like, when the guy that did that blew up.
Oh yeah, there's that going on. I forgot about that. There's so much going on.
So then Scarlet Witch is a bad guy, and then we have WandaVision, which honestly I like their ship. I've liked that since the comics, because they're just they're just chaotic. We love it, but it's like there's just so much going on. There's too much going on.
But let's move on to our next one. We got Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Okay, so me and my mom watched this not too long ago because she wanted to see it, and I had fun with it. I think that I think he's honestly a little too. He's basically Iron Man's archetype in his character arc, but in one movie.
Same format. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his character arc in one movie, basically.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot. I love the first bits. I love the first half of this movie.
Yes.
Everything about him, like recovering, getting there.
Well, it's the same thing. The first half is great. The same thing as Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah,
the first
I agree.
half is amazing, and then after that,
It's
it just
the
gets
same
boring.
thing.
Yeah,
and it gets kind of it's just like Iron Man, where it's like it's really great. You're discovering all this stuff. The scene where he goes to all the different dimensions is incredible.
mm-hmm.
It's so visually interesting and beautiful.
It is. It's amazing.
But then the rest of the movie kind of fails at that interesting part because all the magic scenes, they make weapons and they fight. It's like, what? You could have done that. Makes me so mad. Where it's like, okay, he has a rope. Wait, he has a rope? What?
Yeah, he made a rope.
That's what you're doing with this? That's the magic you're going with.
Yeah.
You know, like it gets better in Infinity War. In Infinity War, he uses actual magic to like.
Well, keep in mind, this is the only movie where we have real magic. Because in Thor, it's quote unquote magic, but they obviously set it up to be more like a science.
Yeah.
You know, they have like it's
right.
very
yeah,
like because Asgard is. It's in a way magic, but also it's just extremely advanced technology.
But that's what I'm saying.
This is real magic, though.
But they don't use it well.
Exactly.
They just
go
into a weird mirror. They go into a weird mirror dimension, and then they make weapons out of their magic. That's it. And the sling. I hate the sling rings. The Sorcerer Supreme does not need a sling ring. They only came up with the sling ring so they can sell sling rings.
That was a weird choice.
It was weird.
Also because they could have the scenes that make it more tense. Like, oh, if he throws his sling ring out of the mirror dimension, he can't get out. That's really the reason it's there, is that it creates fake tension, you know?
The best part of this movie is the Dormammu, how he defeats him at the end.
I've come to bargain!
By outsmarting him.
Because that was very dumb. That was a very good thing for his character. That is obviously, that is what his character
That is exactly what
that is a phenomenal choice.
That's such an interesting thing to do because it's not him punching it. He outthinks the villain.
Exactly. That hasn't really happened.
I think that's really great.
Before,
I love that so much. Dormammu, it's so amazing. I think that's a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first half of it's really, really good, but just it falls apart with the fight scenes and the magic not being. He gets even better later on, though.
I feel like his love interest was very forgettable.
Yeah,
the girl
she's
from
not even
gonna
be
Girls.
in the next one, probably.
Yeah, no one really.
Well, I love her. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah, she was good. She did good in her part. I just think that she was there wasn't really anything they could tie it into. So overall, I think I love Wong. I think him and Wong had a good
Wong
dynamic.
is really great.
We love Wong.
So I'm thinking B tier right next up.
One last thing though, how do you feel about the Ancient One? How she actually drew her power from the dark dimension and stuff?
Like that's cool and all, but there's that. Do you remember the scene when they're revealing that and it just shows her face and she's like looking around like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so weird.
And then the thing like shows up on her head and they're like, "You are part of the dark dimension."
It's so weird. I don't like her. I don't like the Ancient
I didn't like it. She gave me
I'm fine
weird
with the
vibes.
twist, but I don't like the
She gave me very weird vibes.
Because that actress plays the same character in every movie she's in.
Oh, really?
It's just
I'm sure I've seen her, but I
can't remember her name right now. I'm not
okay,
a fan.
so how would you rank it?
B tier.
That's what I was thinking. I think because it's the middle of the line. It's not anything it's fun to watch, but also it's not phenomenal.
What's going on in the B tier is a lot of really fun moments that I go back and view, but whenever there's so much going on sometimes.
Yes, there's just either too much going on
or not enough going on with Ant-Man.
Exactly.
And it just doesn't fall. There's really fun character moments and really good, cool things going on, but it just falls apart once you think about it a little too much or once you start really getting into the plot around it. These are the movies that I skim through to the parts that I actually like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do when I watch these movies.
That's how I feel about Civil War also, but I'm kind of pissed off about how dumb it is whenever it's like...
And Tony, why is Tony... Because Tony, honestly, is one of my favorite characters ever besides Hulk. Why would you
Civil War doesn't need to be... Civil War probably deserves B tier, but I'm putting it in the C tier.
I think at the end we can go through and figure out what we
but I'm putting it... my bias
We're going to leave it at C tier for now. Yeah. Okay, so
Guardians
now we have...
2.
Oh, man, I love this movie.
Me too.
I love oh my god. Movie. So is that automatically...
It's automatically...
S tier, yes.
At least right next to
S tier, yes.
This is the most... interesting. I'm just gonna put it there. This is the most interesting movie visually. The shots, the way they do the shots with the music and just the really
soundtrack is amazing.
The soundtrack's amazing.
Beautiful visually.
I love Kurt Russell, the villain. Ego, best villain in the entire MCU in my opinion.
Ego is great.
I love the daddy issues. They handle it so well.
They handle it very well.
I love the themes of family, of loyalty. It's a beautiful movie, and it's framed in such a funny way.
Yes, it's hilarious.
I love the theme of family. I love the theme of family, about finding your real family you have. Is blood thicker than
the end
water?
when when because Yondu really goes through a lot of, like, in the beginning you don't
Yondu.
like him, in the beginning of the first movie you don't like him, and it basically just progresses until you end up like just being like literally the first time I've ever cried in theaters was when I saw that scene.
Yeah, and I
Like
cried
at
when
the
he
end
died.
during the Ravager funeral.
Yeah, I cried when he died, and then when he got the
first time I
Ravager
cried.
funeral, I'm like, yes! Like, I was the same thing that
It's a
Sean
very
Gunn was doing. It's
almost triumphant
yes,
moment,
it
not just
is
for him,
triumphant.
not just for his character, but for everyone in the movie.
For everyone in the movie, what a great...
Everyone just leveled up at that point. You know how in D&D at the end of a part of a campaign you level up? That's what that really felt
That's
like.
what
to
it
me.
was. This
Yes.
is one of my favorite movies. I've watched
I
it
think
so
everyone,
many
and a lot of
times.
the problems with some of these movies is that the characters go through it and they either don't change, or you know what I'm saying? But in this one, every
single character changes
think
and
about
has
how
an
many
arc
characters
and learns something about themselves.
Yes. And how many characters were in it? You know what I'm saying? So, Age of Ultron, they just none of them really got arcs because, or not all of them did, because there's just so many in there. But this one, they handled that so well.
Baby Groot is so cute.
Yes,
they do handle it so well. And at the end, there's so many great moments. And it's like, welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy. And he didn't say frickin'. Usually that'd be cringy and stupid, but it's like it works so well. It's
well,
like,
yeah, because
welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right.
Yeah, and Mary Poppins.
Oh, Mary Poppins, y'all. That's so fun.
That's so, like, I have a picture from Comic-Con with the guy dressed as Mary Poppins.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, it's just...
Yeah, and that's all. It's like, it's such a Michael Rooker is such an emotional performance. And it's true, like, heartbreak, the themes of the family and the daddy issues, basically, and like Peter dealing with that. Chris Pratt said that reading the script made him cry, and it made him better deal with the death of his own father.
Wow.
Like, just such a... I'm like tearing up thinking about this movie right now.
I know, it's a very emotional movie, and in a way that makes it, but it's so funny, and it's so fun, it's so beautiful visually,
and such cool action,
and Mr. Blue Sky in the beginning, Baby Groot, everything,
and the whole music, like the final with the Chain by Fleetwood Mac at the end, like
the final battle was very fun.
So much fun. He turned into Pac-Man like that.
Yes, that was.
It's so cool.
Fun.
I think it handles it very well. Where now, okay, Peter lost his powers, but you dealt with like the whole like. How could he hold the Infinity Stone? You dealt with it. Great.
So he doesn't really need them anymore.
A perfect sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think so.
Perfect sequel.
Because the thing that you always want a sequel, you want it to be better than the first one, and I think this did that.
Rocky Raccoon goes through so much.
Yeah, he
one of the best endings in the whole MCU.
I think so too. I think it was a very satisfying and very good ending. I think
those are such great movies. And right after Guardians of the Galaxy 2, we have Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So this one is really like it's rebooting Spider-Man. I like that they don't really tell his origin story, because at this point
I do like that.
And well, actually, okay, so going back to the whole for a second, they didn't do that because they figured everyone already knew it, but it was the origin story from the show, not the comic book. So I did not know it because I was like, where are you coming from with this? Yeah. But this one does it in a way that it works. Like, everyone's like, okay, yeah, he got bit by a radioactive spider.
It does handle that very well. I wish he would say the name Uncle Ben.
Yeah, he never mentioned it.
It's really annoying. We'll get to Far From Home later, but I hate Far From Home with all my heart. Because it's like, shut up about Tony Stark. Where's talk about Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is there's a lot of things that they try so hard to fit into the MCU that they lose a lot of Spider-Man, in my opinion.
I think so.
There's a lot that I like this movie a lot, by the way. But I'm just getting out the way what I hate. Now, you know how much I love Spider-Man.
Oh, yes. He is a huge Spider-Man
I have a toy right here.
He does. Yeah, I made him a Spider-Man Christmas ornament.
Yeah, that's right. It's right there, too. That's another thing. You made me that awesome mix ornament from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I did make him
that's
that.
right here.
Yeah, we'll have to post a picture of it or something.
Yeah, check out my Twitter. I'll post an Instagram there. Stay_creativeDD. Links in the description. Anyway, I hate the suit. I like the way the suit looks. Yes. I hate that it unlocks that training wheels program and suddenly he's Iron Man. Yeah. With the whole, with the UI and the and all the different abilities and stuff that he has, and the different kinds of webbing, and it's just, it's an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, he's too Iron Man.
Like, he gets the Iron Spider suit. Yeah. That could be his Iron Man suit. This doesn't work for me at all. Yeah. I hate it.
Well, I do like Iron Man's presence in this, but I don't like what they continue to do with it. I like how in this one he's kind of a mentor figure. I don't like when he becomes a real father figure, though. Because I feel like it's just, there's too much Tony Stark in this individual character. Uncle Ben. Exactly.
Yeah. And like, they won't shut up about Tony Stark. Yeah. And that just gets to me. But that becomes a real problem in Far From Home.
Yeah, and this one, it's not that much of a problem.
And this is not that much of a problem. It works. Because you just introduced him through straight after Civil War, great follow-up.
Oh, yeah. It was a fun movie. I like Ned. I like Ned.
I love Ned. I even like Zendaya. as
And I
MJ.
love the twist with Vulture actually being
Vulture,
her.
oh my,
Because that's
being Liz's father.
That's such a coming of age movie
Yeah,
thing.
and it's just straight up like Breakfast Club, but like, and
Yes.
I love that. I can relate to it so much, and you know, you're already scared meeting your girlfriend's dad.
Yeah, and
but
then he actually is like
it's
a crazy, overpowered
like a criminal
super
mastermind.
villain. Yeah.
The Vulture is a great villain.
Oh yeah,
this, by the
Vulture is a
way.
good villain.
Michael
I like
Keaton
Vulture.
is
Honestly,
best
I want to
performance of
cosplay
his.
Vulture, like be like a
Oh my
gender
god,
Vulture.
you should
That'd be a
do
lot
like
of fun.
with the you get
like
the
he
cool,
looks
big
so
wings
cool.
and
I love the whole like you said like crime lord thing. I love that. I think it's really good. I
I
like
think it
Donald
ties in
Glover's
perfectly to what he's doing.
guest
Oh
appearance.
yeah, Donald Glover's great as the Prowler.
Yeah.
The character confirming Miles Morales exists in this universe, and we'll get him later.
Yeah, okay, how do you feel about Zendaya like being?
I actually
Mary
like
Jane?
Zendaya. She's not Mary Jane. That's the thing, though.
Well, yeah.
But she is. She's MJ. It kind of bothers me because like just do Mary Jane. Like they're trying so
Yeah,
hard to
just-
be different. Like,
yeah.
how about you just call her Mary Jane? I don't care if Zendaya was Mary Jane. Call
Yeah,
her Mary
exactly.
Jane, or call her Michelle.
Yeah, like
not
call
MJ.
her one or the other.
Just
Yeah.
stop your tiptoeing. You're playing just the tip. Like just call her. You know what I mean? Like just call her Mary Jane, or don't. It's
Exactly.
annoying. Like I said, there's a lot about the Spider-Man character that they just completely throw away.
Yeah,
because they're trying so hard to make it different.
With great power comes great responsibility. There's none
Right.
of that. I mean, there is the only time that even really comes into play is when he does the ship thing. You know, when he's like trying to like tie it back together.
Yeah,
but then
and that's
fails.
a really awesome moment.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really awesome moments, but I can forgive them without great power comes great responsibility. Only because there's a lot of moments where I can look in his eyes and tell that's what he's thinking.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
And I think so I think you're right about what you're saying. Like there's a lot of elements that are just not Spider-Man.
Tom Holland is incredible.
Tom Holland
Peter Parker,
he does amazing.
He's so much fun. I do like the way the suit looks a lot.
Yeah. And I honestly have to say though, I don't like Mary Jane very much. I think like you said, I heard a theory from another channel though, or like another article or something I read. And basically they said that she's gonna become like a villain or something, or she's gonna go on and then the real Mary Jane is gonna like emerge.
Okay.
Honestly, that'd be cool.
But I don't think that's gonna happen because they're trying their absolute hardest to be
and
like,
I think that's the issue with this. They're trying to be different. They're trying to be
They're trying way too hard.
Yes, exactly.
Trying way too hard and it just falls apart, and it's okay to mention Uncle Ben.
Exactly. Like it's
but
okay
it becomes a real problem in Far From Home.
Oh yeah. So let's get this one out of the way for now.
So, but I still love it a lot because I do love Spider-Man. I think there's a lot of great Spider-Man moments. The scene where he lifts the rubble off of him.
Oh yes.
I love whenever he's at the party and he goes to the web swing and he can't because there's no building. So this is the run. You know,
yeah.
There's no buildings, and I love the Washington D.C. scene.
Yeah, that one's.
He's being a hero. He's saving people. The fight scene with the Vulture and how he just has to. He doesn't necessarily beat him. He just has to be stronger than him and have more willpower, and outlast him, and just keep coming back.
And not be greedy, because that was his downfall.
Yeah, not be greedy,
and he's just morally superior.
Just become more superior. I like how he loses it and has to put on the classic suit to fight. Yeah. He loses that suit at the end.
Yeah,
I think it's a really great Spider-Man movie. I love Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I think it's a really great Peter Parker movie.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking. Honestly, I really like this movie a lot. I love the villain. I love the fight scenes. I love the dialogue. I'm thinking A tier.
I think A tier.
Just because I love the dialogue so much and the talk. Like, it's so funny. It's a funny freaking movie. It is a very funny
movie. It's a good coming of age movie.
I love all the other. I love all the side characters. Yes. I love Ned. I love Ned. Flash. I love the interpretation of Flash.
Flash. I like that too.
He's a bully, but he's a bully by just being a jerk.
And just having a huge crush on Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
which that's in the comic books. That's in the comic books. He's the president of the Spider-Man fan club. So I really like Homecoming. I think it was a great introduction of Peter Parker to the MCU. I think it worked very well. Happy's great in it. I love Happy.
We love Happy.
We love
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, we love Jon Favreau.
Okay.
I love Iron Man in it.
So Thor Ragnarok, one of my favorite movies.
Period.
Ever.
Yeah.
This literally one of my favorite movies. I think that it's so funny. It just revolutionizes Thor. And not just Thor, even Hulk and this, I think it really did a good job with him. I really like how they handled him because that's what happened in the Planet Hulk storyline, which is one of my favorite storylines of all time.
It's a great adaptation of that story.
Yes, it's an amazing because honestly Planet Hulk was just a really dark, it had so much crazy stuff going on, and I like this adaptation with the Grand Master
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. Everyone in this killed their performance.
Yeah, they did.
Everyone just did a great job. I think that it's really just the breath of fresh air in the Thor franchise that we needed.
Yeah.
And I think it's hilarious. I like Loki in this. I like every character.
I like every character. Taika Waititi's an amazing director. Korg. And Meek.
Oh my god, and I'm
From
really
Meek.
happy that they kept them from the comic book, because they were part of Hulk's war
Yeah,
bound.
they're nothing like the comic characters, but
They're
that's
not,
okay.
but they're so funny, so it's
so
like,
funny.
yeah, they're so
You sound
funny.
like Bread. Bread's dead.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Amen.
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 This is Meek. He has nice for hens. I'm Korg. Like, it's so funny. And, like, they're even better, like, in Endgame, where it's like,
yes.
oh,
Where they're playing
don't forget to
Fortnite.
log into the Wi-Fi. No password, obviously. Like, that's so funny. That's so funny. Taika Waititi, you know he voices that.
Yeah, he does.
It's so great.
It's great. I like Loki in this because I feel like he's it's like you said, almost just like the comically evil. Like when like at
Loki's
the end,
great character
when they say like you know, when they're like, hey, this ship needs a leader, and he's like, you need a leader. You know, he's just like, cause he just wants to rule something so bad. And he's like, it's my chance.
He's
so
great
funny.
character development, and he's really unpredictable, but in a good way.
Exactly.
You never know what he's gonna do, but in a good way.
Well, it's not just like a stupid unpredictable just for the heck of it. It's more of like it works. Like every time he does something like that, it works.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
his
saying?
character works so well for that.
Yeah.
Thor is a really funny movie with really awesome music and just awesome and badass, and like the lightning coming through, and it's like
and when he gets and then
so
Hela, I like Hela.
Hela's okay.
I think that they could have done. I don't like how they killed the Warriors 3.
That is one a lot of people liked it.
Well, yeah, but I like the Warriors 3.
I like the Warriors.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. Like that, I'm okay with them dying because I do think that Asgard is just gone in this, and I think that I like that choice because I think it's time for that because everything in this is revolutionized.
Yeah.
And so I like I'm okay with him dying. I just wish that they could have at least put up a fight because he literally just came in and like stabbed 2 out of the 3 like right off the bat. Or it was Hela that did it.
Yeah, you're right. It was very uneventful.
Yeah, and I was like, well, at least give them a good sin because I liked them. I thought they were one of the high points of the boring original.
Yeah, I agree. But
that almost felt like a moment though, where I'm sorry I interrupted you, but that's almost like where it's like you could just tell he was going in and just be like, yeah, the old movies were boring. This is nothing like that.
Yeah, that's 100% like that.
Yeah. So I didn't like that he
Odin's death is like it's really kind of nice. It's a nice little death for him.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hopkins is an amazing actor, of course.
Oh yes.
Hulk's great in this. Hulk is a lot of fun in this,
and
when he comes Bruce Banner again, and it's just such a great team up movie. I love the visuals, the way it looks. It's so interesting and lively, and has such a voice and is so unique. I can watch it over and over and over again.
Sakaar is just trash planet.
Sakaar's it's great.
Sakaar itself is great. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I love Sakaar. I love when he goes back. He gets super powerful. I love the line, "Are you Thor, God of Hammers?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Because it's kind of like, it's almost like, you know, the moment in Spider-Man when he's like, the suit isn't what makes you you.
Mm-hmm.
But in Thor, his hammer, because literally in the first movie, his hammer was the driving plot. You know, like, it was all about getting his hammer back. But in this one, it's like, you don't really need that, though.
Yeah,
like,
he loses his hammer right at the beginning.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm so glad they have that, you know? And I think it's an awesome moment when Asgard, as much as I love Asgard, like it was really cool when it got destroyed. I like that.
Yeah, with the big demon.
Yeah,
like that just came back into play in a really good way. That was so much fun. I really like this movie. So where would you rank it?
Definitely at least S. I think S.
I think S right next to Guardians.
I think exactly.
Now, personally, if it was just me doing this list, I'd probably put it in A.
Yeah, I mean, you would put it in an A.
No, I'm gonna put it in S.
Okay, I think it's, like I said, it's something I definitely have issues with it, like I just said, but I think it's amazing. I think it really brought Thor back.
Yeah, it made Thor one of the best characters in the entire MCU.
Exactly. And it's so funny, and I think that I just love everyone. I love Jeff Goldblum. I love everyone that was in it. I love all the character arcs. I just love it. And I love that it immediately feeds into Endgame.
Right, it does. Like,
or not Endgame, but like
Infinity War. Yeah, I agree. It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. S tier actually is the best place for it. But then after that, we have Black Panther.
So,
which is the most overrated comic book movie ever made.
I personally like it. I agree with you. I think that there was a lot about it that people just, I mean, and I think the thing is the cast is good. Like, these are a lot of great actors, and I think that's one of the reasons that everyone was so like, oh my god, this is great, because they have so many good actors in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and also because in Civil War, Black Panther was amazing.
Yeah, he was really
so
great.
I think everyone was just like, oh my god, this is so great, because it's coming off of the high from that.
Yeah.
And it's got all these amazing actors there, you know, it's got Claw in it, everyone's excited to see it.
Claw is really great.
Yeah, Claw is amazing. So and personally, I liked it. I feel like it felt very generic, though, in a way. The storyline.
Very mediocre.
The storyline was very, there wasn't anything that I like. Okay, I don't know how I feel about Killmonger. I liked him, but he wasn't my favorite villain ever.
I think he's way overhyped because he has one cool line at the end that doesn't make sense. I know people love that line. It doesn't make any sense because all of a sudden it's about that. What are you talking about? But it's a cool line.
What line are you talking about?
Buried me in the ocean. My ancestors jumped from the ships because they knew that death was better than bondage.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I like that line. I think that it does. Like, you're right. It doesn't really fit with everything else.
It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
He just wanted to go back to Wakanda. He wasn't like a.
But also, he wanted to take over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, and they didn't. It never I wish they would have gone through with it. They never explicitly said it. But it's very heavily implied that what he's saying is like, we give our guns to our people. What he's saying is,
like
he's going to, he's going to
Africans around the world.
Right, yeah, like he's going to just give the technology to black people, and then they're going to take over the world.
And I do think that I like that this is the first superhero movie that has an mostly black cast. There's only a couple white people there, and I think that I love the setting. I think Wakanda I love
Wakanda. It's
I
really
really love
interesting
Wakanda.
setting.
I love Shuri.
The music in
it.
I
love Shuri.
Shuri's cool.
She's so funny. She's the little sister, the fun little sister character without being annoying.
Yeah, except for the what are those thing. I hate that what are those line. Like, shut up.
That was just like old directors trying to be hip.
Yeah, like that millennial speak. Yeah,
yeah.
I do, but the CGI is good with the.
Oh yeah, the CGI is very good.
It's good with the, like settings.
Mm-hmm.
The fight scene at the end has some of the worst CGI in the entire MCU. It is disgusting to look at. It looks like a PS2 video game. Like it's so bad.
Mean the mine scene?
No,
or you mean the rhino?
when they're in the train. Yeah, the mine scene, like when there's a train. Yeah, that.
And I think
it
could have been really cool, and I think it's very emotionally charged, so I like that, but you're right, visually, like, it could have been so much cooler.
It doesn't work at all.
And I think, so I like Shuri, I like Claw, I like Claw a lot, he's hilarious.
Claw is the best part of the whole movie, but the plot is very mediocre, it's very, like...
And I mean, honestly, just, in general, I like Black Panther a lot. I think that he's a good character, that he just didn't live up to his potential.
I think he was much better in Civil War.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think the issue is that it wasn't even really about him though. He didn't really. It was the Wakanda movie. It wasn't the Black Panther. That's the way I saw it.
Honestly, I just don't like this movie. Like, I just can't stand to watch it again. Like, it's so boring to me and so dumb. Like, there's a lot of dumb moments where it's like, there's a lot of moments where they just forget their own logic about how he's supposed to be the fastest man like ever, but then like he can let them escape in the car. It's like, what? But we just saw you like surf a car to catch somebody.
Yeah.
I love I think they went to Korea, right? It was Korea they went to.
Yeah, I think it was Korea.
Yeah, I love that part.
That was a neat scene. I did like
overall,
that.
I'm just
like I said. I wish he would have had more of a character arc. He was dead for like how much of the movie? Remember, he went into a coma because Killmonger threw him off the thing. So as much as I love I do like Okoye. She's a good character. As much as I love her and Shuri and all them, it's like, and what was his girlfriend's name?
I don't remember.
But as much as I like them, I wish he could have gotten more character development. Because I personally love him. I think he's a great character.
I think the way that it's edited and shot is very weird with the whole twist thing. At the beginning, you just see half the twist, and it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care. You should have just shown the whole twist from the beginning, where it's like Killmonger was that guy's son, and like, it's really weird. It takes a lot of weird directions that I just don't like at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's trying way too hard. So, I'm honestly thinking C tier.
That's what I think.
It's so mediocre, but it's not nearly as fun as these four movies.
It doesn't have as much fun movie moments. I mean, moments as those other ones. I think, like I said, I like it. I just think that I really wish I could have seen more of him. And less of just Wakanda in general. Yeah. He's an amazing character.
We saw a lot of Wakanda in Infinity War.
Yes. Remember the whole fight scene in the trailer where they literally edited in, like, Hulk and, like...
Yeah, there's a fake scene that never happened.
A completely fake... They were in, like, a swamp. It was a completely fake scene.
But besides that, Infinity War is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Infinity War is amazing. I mean, everyone has a good... Like, most of them have a good character arc. I think that... There's so many characters, and they're all juggled so well, and it's so good. Yes, I love I like that,
It's so funny, too.
Yeah, it's very funny. I love, you remember the memes, like, Avengers Infinity War spoilers, but without context?
Yeah.
Those were my favorite. I think there's so much about this movie I like. I like Iron Man, I like,
Doctor Strange is great
I
in
love
this.
Doctor Strange in this one.
The Guardians are a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, the Guardians. Oh my god, that was so funny. Like when Iron Man was just like, "What master do you serve?" And he was like,
Yeah,
"What do you want me to
Dr.
say?"
Strange said
Jesus.
that, yeah.
Oh yeah,
What
I
else to say,
forgot. But
Jesus? That's such a great scene.
because it's just really like it just shows like how funny they are.
Yeah, it's
and
a
just
really funny
how
movie.
all of the other characters are just like, "What are these people doing?" Like,
it's a really funny movie. Yeah,
it's very, and I love that everyone finally comes together. It's oh man, I
it's
love
a great
Thor.
action scene. Thor's awesome in this.
And when he literally is
Stormbreaker.
the star, when he's like just holding,
Yeah, that's
taking
awesome.
on the whole power of a star.
This
amazing.
is prime Thor.
Yes, this is Thor at his finest. What do you feel? How do you feel about Loki's death, though?
I think it was great. I loved it. It was such a perfect round to his character arc where yes, he died, but he died at least giving Heimdall enough time to muster up the strength to wake up and get Thor out. Get Thor and get Hulk out of there.
Yeah. You know, we didn't talk about Heimdall and Ragnarok. I forgot about Heimdall.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty great.
I liked him.
He's really
great
great in Ragnarok.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. But yeah, so yeah, there's just so much I like about it. Like I don't have many complaints about it at all.
Music and emotion and the
exactly.
death. Oh my god, the death! It's like wow, he did it. He did the snap. Thanos is a great character. Thanos is an amazing.
And also,
character.
this is the first time that any of these characters like genuinely lose in their fight. Like genuinely
lost.
Like they really lost. Like hard, you know, like
hard loss.
Yes.
You are right. Yeah, it's a great movie. The way they juggle all the characters and the character arcs that they're going through, and I love it. Mm-hmm. I love Thor in this. There's so many awesome moments. I don't skip a single scene when I'm watching this movie. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it's S+.
And I remember just like at the end it was so sad. Like it really hits you when the snap happened because it's just like so much of it really hits you. Like so much in this movie made me like emotional.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's just such a good movie.
It is awesome. It's S+. It's the best movie in the whole thing. I think it's so well made.
So then we have, coming off of that, we have, which I want to talk about the ending scene first, though. Like, okay, I was in the theaters, and I remember just watching the end credit scene, and the moment where it's like he just goes in, all of a sudden it's like they go, and I remember I was like, wait, what happened? And then all of a sudden it just cuts to them, and it's like the ashes, and I remember everyone in the theater just went, no! Yeah. Like, it was just, like, a crazy moment. And
then it's like Ant-Man and the Wasp will return. Question mark? Do you remember that part? Because at the end of all, they will return. Question mark? I actually like that moment a lot.
Yeah, it was crazy. Cool. Oh, my God. Like, oh, man, that was insane. Like, that just, I was, like, just going, for, like, 5 minutes.
Did not like the rest of the movie.
I didn't, yeah, me either.
I remember I walked out of the theater and I posted on my Instagram, wow. Ant-Man and the Wasp was kind of bad.
The villain was bad.
Yeah.
The villain just hands down was bad. I did not like the villain at all.
It's so stupid, Ghost, and yeah, I don't like it. Paul Rudd's great as always. I like him and Hope's relationship, I guess, and I do like getting Janet Van Dyne back.
I do too.
But it's kind of weird and kind of contrived. It's like, okay, so she comes back and she just can magically heal the...
Yeah, and it was honestly forgettable. Like,
it's so forgettable. It was very forgettable, and it's way worse than the first Iron Man. It's such a disappointment.
There was some funny moments in it, and I think that but overall, I like the part where he like is like little, but like not that little, so he looks like a kid. You know, that was funny, but it wasn't enough to carry the whole movie.
I feel like even that's like cheap comedy.
Yeah, like it wasn't like really like just like
it wasn't a very funny movie.
It doesn't work like it does. Like honestly, some of the humor in Guardians of the Galaxy is just like why, but it's like because of the characters and how they work together, it just makes it laughable. But in this one, it just doesn't. Like, it just doesn't really work as well. It's very forgettable.
And
like, I honestly don't even remember
the side characters aren't as fun in this one as they were in the first Ant-Man. They're kind of annoying, actually, to a point. There's no memorable fight scenes that make any sense.
Like I said, I really don't even remember the entire plot to it. I remember Giant Man, and he got too big, and he, like...
Yeah, passed out. Yeah, we already... The Giant Man stunt, we saw that. We get it. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
You can't pull it out. Every single movie that Ant-Man has been in now, he becomes Giant Man.
Yeah. And the thing is, I guess, like, when I was in the theaters and I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty cool, but then I immediately forgot about it. Like, it just wasn't, like,
well, he didn't become Giant Man in Ant-Man.
No, I mean,
I was just correcting myself. So I was correcting myself.
Yeah, it's fine.
But you're right, it is very forgettable, and it's just not good.
Yeah,
I just don't... There's nothing... I've never rewatched. I've seen it once. I have not rewatched it again.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very good. There's nothing memorable about it. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's not a bad movie, but it's there's no fun action. It's really tonally inconsistent. I don't know what the theme is. I don't know what the point of this movie is at all.
And again, I still don't really like Hope that much. Like, she's like, I like her and I love the actress that plays her.
Right.
But it's kind of like, it's not amazing.
It's not amazing.
So yeah, so that's probably D.
I'm thinking D tier as well.
Yeah, I think D.
I think, like, right in the middle of Iron Man 2 and Thor. I really don't like that movie. It's such a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
So next will be Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
This is going to be a controversy one. Well, I hate women, so I'm going to put it in the F tier.
No, he's joking.
I'm joking. Yeah.
Okay, so this one... Okay, so
this
here's the thing.
Also, one of the more mediocre ones.
When I saw this one, I had I was sick, so I'd gotten a steroid shot, so I was just like whoaing at everything. I was like, whoa, because I was just hyped up. So
yeah.
this movie was kind of in a way a haze for me because I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. But I just like, so I enjoyed it probably more in the theater than I actually genuinely did when I walked out. I think that the thing about this one is that she's just, Captain Marvel is not like I'm trying to think, okay, so you know what I was saying about Shuri? I really like her character. I think that she's just this fun, independent woman, but she does it in a way that makes you really just like her. She's endearing. You're just like, oh man, like she's really smart, she's really cool and all that, but you like her. Like, it's kind of like she's just a really fun character. But Captain Marvel is not.
She's not very likable.
She's not, like, in my opinion, she's just not a very likable character.
She's not interesting. I don't like her face. Like, her face bothers me for some reason. And, like, none of the things she does, she's very all over the place with her character. Sometimes she's witty. Sometimes she's super serious and awesome.
She was just never
sometimes
really
she's lighthearted.
Funny
like,
to me.
Never really
like
funny. Sometimes she's screaming in aliens' faces, and sometimes she's the biggest badass in the world. It's like, it's just very all over. It's trying to be all these different things.
Yeah,
I don't think she's funny.
Really like her. Honestly,
the worst line in the entire MCU, she says.
Which one is it?
So, the Kree is a group of noble warriors, heroes. Noble warrior heroes. She says that. It's so
it's
cringy.
Just so, like...
How I said it, that's how she said it.
I don't know, the whole movie
it makes me want to vomit. It's so cringy.
I just didn't really like her in general. I mean, just the movie also, I don't know how, the scroll twist was really interesting.
I liked what they did with the scrolls.
I like Talos. I like Talos
Talos, and I kind of wish they would have not done that though, because then we could get a Secret Invasion movie, but fine.
Yeah.
But I do like that twist a little bit. Also, it's obvious as hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only, like, it was pretty obvious. I think that, it's just, like, there wasn't really much that I liked about it. The female, like, what was her name? The woman that was part of the Pegasus, like, not her friend, but, like, the woman that was in charge of it.
Marvel.
Yeah, that was Marvel. Yeah,
that was Captain Marvel.
I completely forgot that was Marvel.
Because Marvel,
that's not Marvel.
In the comics, is one of my favorite characters, and they literally... Nope, it's a woman.
And he died of cancer. He was a pretty cool character.
Important character.
Yeah, and it's like she was just like a kind of like she turned out to be a villain, right? Like,
she wasn't a villain. She was just like,
just in that like that
that
like weird hallucination scene. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
She was only in that scene in the hallucination because that's what the Supreme Intelligence, because that's what she saw.
Yeah,
because she looked up to her a lot.
Yeah, I remember.
She was not actually the.
I was just never bothered to go back and watch it. So I just like after I saw it the initial time, which honestly it's a forgettable movie. It's not really. There's not really that many fun. I don't like that Nick Fury the Florkin scratched his eye, and that's how he got.
That sucks.
That because I mean, well, think about in what was it? It was Captain America 2, right?
It was Winter Soldier. Last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye. What a bad ass scene.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, like, you can just say, like, oh, he was lying, because I mean, he does stuff like that sometimes to try to get them motivated.
Yeah, but I don't think he was. I think at the time,
like that felt like a really real scene. Like the only time where you really see like a real Fury. You know what I'm saying? Like not like just this fake persona.
I'm not a fan of her character. I don't like that it turns out, oh, she started everything, by the way. Like, Avengers came from her. Like, shut up. Like,
and being set in the 90s is fun, but it wasn't
They didn't
really...
do anything with it at all.
Exactly, they didn't do anything
other than
with
having
it.
young Nick Fury.
Other than having young Nick Fury, Phil Coulson, and having,
But
like,
then
a blockbuster.
Phil Coulson was in it for, like, a second.
Exactly. Like, they could have done so much more with it, I feel. I don't know. There was just a lot more they could have done with this movie, honestly. Like, just across the board. And they just didn't do it. And I feel like it's... I don't know. I'd say definitely at the bottom.
I'd say it's so boring.
Yeah.
It's so forgettable and so pointless.
Yeah.
And I just don't like her. I don't think she's very likable at all. I think they're trying way. I think it's like Black Panther where it's trying way too hard.
Well, I think the issue with her character is that it's not like she is a strong female character, which we always could use more of. But it's just the way that it's not, like I said again with Shuri and Natasha and like all of them. It's like they're strong female characters, but they do it in a way that's really likable and organic, and everyone just because they just do it flawlessly. But she is just trying so hard to be a badass that it just doesn't work. You know? Yeah.
And so next we're gonna move on to Avengers
Endgame. Literally, like, okay, so the first time I saw this, I just want to say I cried.
Me too.
But the reason I cried, the first time I saw it, I cried when everyone stepped out of the portals because it was so awesome. Like, it was so, like, just awesome. Something that, like, I'm almost finished with my high school career. This, like, the first Avengers came out when I was in 5th grade. This, like, literally, I was like, it's all coming together now. Like, the Kronk meme. It was just
it's all coming. Yeah, I watched Iron Man in theaters, 2008.
Yeah.
So, from 2008 until this movie came out, 2019, over 10 years of build-up. Over 10 years of build-up to this moment. And it culminated
and it was perfectly. So awesome. But then the second time I saw it, I actually cried harder because the thing is that I remember I saw it with my friend Kendall, my best friend, and we like went at the end when Captain America was dancing with Peggy. We just went, oh, we just started like sobbing, like it just like because then it was just like
Iron Man's death broke me, man.
Oh
I was crying for like 15 minutes straight.
That was so sad. Like it just, and I was like, and then when she said it's okay, you can rest now, I was like, oh
yeah, it was
like all of his suffering's over now. Like no, and he has a daughter now. Like oh my god,
that epic battle. He's like, I am Iron Man. That's so awesome. Call him at the very first movie when he says I am Iron Man.
And okay, I think the thing about like the scenes like that, I think that this movie has a lot of fan service, but it does it in a way that's
good.
Flawless.
I love it.
Like it doesn't feel cringy or just thrown in there. Like okay, so the part when Captain America, he fights everyone off, and then all of a sudden this whole army's coming up at him, and it's just him facing this army.
Yeah, and he's gonna
do it.
And
that was a very like I can do this all day moment, and they didn't say it, but that was it. Yeah, exactly. And so it was perfect. Like it was just like flawless. You know what I'm saying? Like it just felt. And I think the thing is when they go back in time and all that stuff, I think that when they went to go to the Avengers from 2012, like when they went to New York, I think that it was old enough to really feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it felt like going home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it felt like you were going home.
I was like, oh, they're doing it. Oh, that's so awesome.
Because,
you see the scene again.
And like it's just wow.
Wow is a great word. I love all the time traveling, this fan service, and the different character pair-offs and all of them coming
and then
together.
when they went to they were in the 70s, right? Like the S.H.I.E.L.D. base or whatever.
That was fun.
And then Tony sees his dad, which was really emotional, and we see Jarvis. I saw like the real guy Jarvis, and I was like Jarvis. I mean, if you saw Agent Carter, you'd really be like, oh my god, it's Jarvis. But and then the part where Cap goes into the room and he's trying to get it, and all of a sudden he sees Peggy, and I was like, ah!
Yeah, like that was so good.
So much of that, like, oh my god, like this was such a good movie.
Such a great culmination of everything. The amazing fight scene at the end, just so freaking awesome. Oh my
god, like it just
everyone had a great moment. I love it.
But I do want to say, I don't like the way they handled Thor.
Yeah, me either.
Completely. Okay, I like some of it. I like the fact that they really... It's kind of the same thing as they said, okay, like Tony, he has PTSD and it's a real issue for him, like it should be, after he's been through all this stuff. But I feel like with Thor, it was like, yeah, he's got depression and all that, but it was a joke.
Right.
It was like a big joke, though, and it's kind of like... And in a way, I liked it, but then it's like, eventually I was like, like, when's he gonna turn it around? Like, when's he gonna stop being the butt of every joke? Which he never did.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, at first, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of funny. But then it just never stops.
Yeah, like, he never
He's
comes
drunk
around.
till the very end.
Exactly.
It's like, come on, dude. He never... And it kind of just makes fun of, like... It could have been a really serious, like... oh, he's depressed and bad things happen and you're
And the thing
dealing
is,
with
it
that.
starts off funny, but then it like after he had the
Mhm.
conversation with his mom, he should have just done a complete 180.
But he didn't. Nope,
He didn't,
it
though,
didn't.
yeah.
It didn't work at all, and I didn't like it. I think it was such a missed opportunity.
I think so too.
What do you think about Professor Hulk?
Okay, back to the Hulk stuff. I think I like that they're exploring the different Hulks because there's so many different ones in the comics. I like that they did that because, you know, it's just like I said, there's so much crazy stuff going on with them, and there's so much that they can bring into his movies, and I do like it, but also I don't like that they show this epic struggle that he's having with like his inner persona. But then it's like all of a sudden it's we worked it out.
It's one of those. It's like in Iron Man 3 when they blow him up at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like the next one's like, oh, we're fine. It's like this. It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, you were struggling. Okay, yeah, it's gone now. Like it's just, and I mean, it's very like I think I like the meme. This is what is it? I see no problem with this, or this is an absolute win. I see this as an absolute win. Yeah, I love that. But I feel like it's just very like
missed opportunity.
It's funny, but honestly, I like it more than I liked Thor being the butt of every joke. But I also I feel like they could have just done more with it. I don't know.
It's a lot of missed opportunity there.
He's just an extremely different character from when we saw him the last few times.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I feel too. I think that this firmly goes. You know, I was thinking just S tier because there are some faults to it.
I think it's not as good as Infinity War, but it is. I think it's.
I almost want to say if the first Avengers is going to be an S plus, I think this deserves S plus.
I think this is an S plus. So I think because the ending was amazing. I think. Do you think Cap should have just stayed in the past?
What do you mean?
Like when he went back?
Yeah.
I think
I thought that was a great ending.
I think he should have just stayed. I don't think he should have come back as an old man. I think he should have just like left his shield and gone.
Yeah.
Because he's, you know, it's almost the same as Tony, you can rest now.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's doing. After all this crap he's been through, he's finally getting to live his life.
But the fact that he came back as an old man means he did live his life.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's just like, I think if the ending scene would have just been Sam picking up the shield and then him and Peggy dancing, I think that would have been like... That would have been really good. Been perfect.
But also, I do like that he came back and talked to Sam.
Yeah,
I do like that he.
So it's kind of like, would I rather have that? Yeah, I don't know. I think I like both options for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I don't know. I'm kind of like back and forth on that. I like that Thor is going with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I like that Valkyrie becomes
Queen of Asgard.
Yeah, I do like that. Because I think Thor's had his time as king. I think he's you know, I do like. I like that Sam's the new Captain America.
I think it's gonna be great.
Like
yeah, Captain America.
I mean, I know a lot of people
Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up. It's gonna be really good.
A lot of people think it should have been Bucky, but I kind of think Bucky at this point just isn't that kind of character.
No, I think I like the way. I think they've worked towards Sam being. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be really good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really have to say about that one. I think I said most of it. I mean, it's
an incredible accomplishment.
It is. It's really amazing that they could pull that off.
It is.
How do you feel about Natasha's death? That's the other thing
I was about to say that. I think they handled it really, really well. A great scene between Hawkeye and Natasha.
I think so.
These friends fighting over who's gonna die.
Yeah.
But like to kill it themselves. Like I think that's a really great premise, and I really like her a lot in this movie. I think this is her best movie.
Yes, definitely. She's the best in this one, and I think so there's a deleted scene. I don't know if you've seen it, but basically it's this scene except before when they're deciding who's gonna die, Thanos comes in and attacks them, and then so it's like he has one of the like troops has Hawkeye like pinned down. And then Natasha sees her chance, and she just runs and jumps off, and he's like, no, and all that. Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of people say, well, this is so much better, because it's so more action-packed and all this. And I said, yeah, but that is not, like, okay, so Black Widow and Hawkeye, they're best friends, and they've been friends for a long time. They saved each other. They really did. They were both in really dark places, and they lifted each other up from that. And this is such an emotional scene, because there's no fighting, there's no guns, it's just two friends wanting to sacrifice their lives for each other.
I think you're right.
And that is so impactful. Like that really is. Like that is one of the most tear-jerking moments in the whole movie.
I agree.
Because
I think it's a great
just imagine, you know, like you and your best friend, like just because you don't want them to die, you'd be willing to die for them, but then it's like you're literally just fighting to like, you know what I'm saying? It's so emotional.
Yeah, it is. So, also, Nebula's great in this movie. I love Nebula in this movie.
That was really clever, though. Like, when it's, like, the past Nebula started, like, malfunctioning.
It makes sense to me,
I was, like, at first I was, like, what's happening? And then I was, like, wait,
Yeah.
Oh, like
Yeah,
that. Like I
liked
literally
it.
did that in the theater. I was
think
like, oh my
Nebula.
god.
I think Nebula was great.
Because I did not think of that. There was a lot about this movie that people actually predicted and got right.
Right.
Like how it was going to start with like Hawkeye's family getting dusted. There's a lot of things that people predicted about this movie, but that was not one of them that I saw coming.
Me either.
I was like, that is so clever. Like I really thought that was clever.
I agree. So let's move on to our final movie, the most recent one to come out, Spider-Man: Far From Home. I hate this movie. Just as a Spider-Man fan, I hate this movie. I'm just gonna rant for a second.
Yeah,
I rant about it my full one. I hate it. I think I'm sick of hearing about Iron Man. I don't like that it's like all over the place. Like it's not a Spider-Man story to me. I think Mysterio's great in it, sure, but everyone acts really stupid. Everyone acts really dumb and does really dumb things to make the plot go forward. I think I'm sick of hearing about Iron Man. Say the name Uncle Ben. Why are you so afraid of saying Uncle Ben? I think that's so frustrating and annoying. Um, Everything's about Iron Man. It's more of an Iron Man story than it is a Spider-Man story, and I don't think he ever. It's just I hate it. I want to see Spider-Man, and also his suit is just an Iron Man suit. It's just an Iron Man. It's not even interesting anymore because he can do anything. There's no struggle because has an Iron Man suit. And everyone just acts so stupid. Some of the dumbest scenes in the MCU. That scene where like there's the rocket coming to blow up the bus. I hate that scene with the burning passion. It sucks. I hate this movie. I'm a little biased. Okay, I'm very, very biased. It's probably a pretty good movie on its own, but as it stands like this, I hate it. I hate it, and I would put it in F tier with my pure bias. But I'm looking at it without
with the one other movie in
yeah,
F tier.
with no bias, I can try to think like, okay, it won't go in F tier, but I'll put it in F tier for now, just to make me feel good.
Well, I think it's more of a fun movie than it is a real, like, actual good Spider-Man. Like, okay, the part where it's, like, he gets caught with his pants down, like, trying to change into the costume. Like, that's so just, like, what? And then, like, the thing like you said, with just, like, him, like, accidentally almost, like, blowing up the bus. Like, it's just... And then Ned and them, like, sneaking out with him. Like, I really agree with you. All the characters just act so dumb. Like, they really do. And I don't like when that happens in movies, because it's kind of like, is that really all you can do to like heighten the suspense and action? Like just have characters, and then he hands the glasses over to Quentin. I kind of get it because like I mean he's just looking for a father figure, but I agree with you. I don't like how it's like he's the quote unquote new Iron Man. I don't like.
Yeah, what about War Machine?
Exactly. Yeah, Rhodey's the new Iron Man.
Yeah,
like it's just,
right there.
Like it's like like he already is like second Iron Man. So it's just like I think because Peter is something of his own. He's like, as much as I like Iron Man being his father figure, I think it needs to stop there. He doesn't need to be the new quote unquote new Iron Man. Yeah. I don't like that.
So where would you put it then? Without my bias, where would you put it?
I'd still probably like C or D. I mean, it'd still be pretty low. Like I said, there were some fun moments. It wasn't all bad. I'm
gonna drop it in C.
Honestly, move it to D though, because I really don't like MJ. I really don't.
MJ's gonna move it to D for you.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, just like all kinds of like I liked Flash. Honestly, like he was all right. I don't know. Quentin. I feel like the issue with Mysterio is that everyone saw the twist coming.
Yeah. So
everyone knew. Honestly, if they would have just kept him good, I would have preferred that because no one thought that was really gonna happen.
I agree. So
if you want to, you can move it back down to F.
I'm gonna keep it in D.
Like I said, I think it's fun. I think there's a lot of fun moments, but I don't think it just all together
it works.
It's more of just like a buddy road trip movie. Yeah, it's not really like it doesn't really work as a Spider-Man movie.
So we've been going for a long time. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, and let's just quickly skim through and see if we're satisfied with the ranking. So everything in S+. Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers, and Avengers Endgame. I'm satisfied.
I'm satisfied with that.
Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Ragnarok. I'm happy with that. Captain America, First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
I'm okay with that. Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange. Yeah. Civil War, Thor, Black Panther. Yeah. Far From Home, Iron Man 2, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor: The Dark World. And then down at the bottom we have the Incredible Hulk. I think that is a... I think that's pretty solid. I really like our rankings there.
I think so too.
So that is our tier ranking of every Marvel movie. I think the best movie objectively is Infinity War.
Oh yeah,
but I think what's your favorite Marvel movie? Probably Ragnarok, huh?
Okay, it's got to be between Ragnarok and the Avengers. I think the Avengers is just like it's just the original, you know? Like it's just like there's like nothing like that's ever gonna be done in cinematic history. I really don't think. anything like that will ever happen
Yeah.
again, where it's just like this group of characters that have been seen just separate things so far come together. They all get character development. They all are really fun to watch. They're all likable. They have good fight scenes. You know, I don't think anything like that's ever going to be done in cinematic history again. I mean, like maybe like in like 100 years, but definitely not in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And then Ragnarok, definitely a close favorite. I love Ragnarok. Like you said, I love the Planet Hulk storyline, but also I love Thor.
Yeah.
Thor he's always been out there for me, and so it brings my two favorite characters together, Thor and Hulk. And it's a great movie. It's so funny. I love Valkyrie. I like Hela. There's not many complaints. Grandmaster, Korg, I love them all. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the gladiator arena scene, so good. So, the fight scene, that's so good. Like, everything about it is great. I agree.
My favorite's probably Guardians of the Galaxy 2, just about visually interesting and fun it is, and the emotional depths and the character developments and the themes of family work really well for me. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this is our final tier rankings. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
And go follow us on Twitter, stay_creativeDD. Let us know what you want to see next. Check out our other videos. We do a podcast every single week, and we're going to do some tier maker videos every single week. Big thanks to Tier Maker for letting this tier be possible. I think that's about it. I think we're good to go. So, thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, this has been... that's a different... little teaser. This has been David.
That's still not the right
Oh, that's not the right... That's on... There we go. All right, this has been David.
And Casey.
Stay creative.